Three, two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Wanted to run this one by you because I found this one to be a shocker. So I figured I'd get on here and talk with the folks. Now, obviously, this is going to be a heavily contested election. Every analyst in a book suggests that this election is very close and there are currently no clear winners. But what I want to ask you, because I heard someone tell me this, and maybe you can clear it up for me, because we're talking about Kamala Harris going up against former President Trump. And I have had folks tell me there is no legitimate reason to vote for Kamala Harris. Not one legitimate reason. So as you see, that is what the live stream is titled, because I want to tackle it from that perspective. Now, I get there's a hell of a lot of folks that favor Trump, my MAGA portion of the audience, but I do have a lot of liberals that tune in as well. But the notion that there is no reason to vote for Kamala Harris, I want to run that by you because we are going to talk about the reason why folks are supporting both of these candidates. Personally, I believe there's a legitimate reason to vote for either one of these candidates. But I want to hear from you folks. What would lead someone to say there is no legitimate reason to vote for Kamala Harris at all? Is she totally void of any benefit? Or better yet, is President Trump, former President Trump, was he that good in the position of commander in chief that there is no reason to consider anyone else? I'm hearing that there is no legitimate reason to vote for Kamala Harris. So I want to, like I said, I want to run it by you folks because that sounded a bit of a stretch. I think I can come up with a few reasons, but I want to hear from you folks. Now, we always have two topics. We'll certainly talk about whether there's a reason to vote for Kamala Harris or if she is void of any benefits at all. But the second topic, in my opinion, is fairly concerning because we often hear that if Kamala Harris is elected or if a Democrat is elected, they're going to lead us down a course towards a world war. Well, I'm going to ask you this. What about the notion that another country that we support could lead us down the possibility of a major global conflict? I'm talking about Israel. And I'm going to give you my explanation. And I want to know how you folks feel on this because I'm in the air on this. As of yesterday, several pagers began exploding in Lebanon. Apparently, the Mossad, the CIA of the Israeli government. They're called Mossad. They're probably more skilled than the CIA if you look at some of their historical activity. But let's go with the fact that the Mossad apparently was able to place a small amount of explosive in hundreds of pagers, and somehow, some way, they were able to put them on the market so that folks that live in Lebanon were purchased these pagers. Now they're suggesting this. They were able to strike a blow to Hezbollah, but make no mistake about it. There's a lot of innocent casualties for what I'm about to tell you that happened. They placed explosives near the battery inside of a pager. Now, for you folks in America, you haven't had a lot of experience with pagers in recent history. This stuff goes back to the 90s for most of us. Most Americans outside of maybe the medical industry do no longer use pagers. But we all remember what a pager looked like. Not a very big device to put. You would think you would need something bigger to cause mayhem with, but apparently explosives. I'm no explosive expert, but apparently it doesn't take a lot to do a hell of a lot of damage. They put explosives near the battery in pagers, and of course you know how a pager works. You transmit a signal to it and it beeps and it tells you the phone number or whatever. Well, if you got the right circuitry in there, you could have it programmed to detonate that explosive. And that's exactly what happened. All across Lebanon, hundreds of people had those pagers and were seriously maimed, injured, and some even lost their lives. Now, did I see in the comments, Slight says diabolical? Yes. And by the way, that was yesterday. Today apparently a bunch of walkie-talkies exploded. So it could leave you, if you're living in Lebanon, wondering what electronic devices are in my possession that may ultimately take my life. I'm bringing this up because I want to ask you folks, with Israel being one of our number one allies, what is the difference between putting explosives in a pager and essentially indiscriminately taking the lives of people you believe is for a cause? What would be the difference between what Israel did and an IED, an improvised explosive device on the side of the highway in Iraq, or someone getting on a subway in New York with explosives in a backpack? What is the difference? Because there were children that lost their lives to these pagers. You know, you keep a pager on your hip. Maybe it's on the kitchen counter. Maybe it's near the television. When your pager goes off, maybe a kid goes and grabs it, hoping to bring it to dad or mom. Maybe a kid is walking with you down the street and you're holding his hand, meaning his head is right near your hip. Children lost their lives, a lot of innocent people who may be standing next to you in the supermarket. Innocents were harmed, if not killed, in this event. So what I'm asking is, what is the difference between Islamic acts of terror and what Israel did? And of course, with Israel being our number one ally, if we continue standing by Israel as they continue engaging in this sort of activity, are we now becoming state sponsors of terror? I think most of the world realizes that the majority of weaponry that the Israelis have likely comes from America. Certainly the big stuff, the F-16s they're flying around, most of the big weaponry they have, the Patriot batteries they're using to create the Iron Dome. So the world knows Israel gets a hell of a lot of weapons from us. This case, apparently the Israelis never told the Biden administration they were going to do this. So, and thank you, Jokes. Appreciate the graphic. Thank you very much. So, the hat mustache there, DJ Julio. Yeah! Thank you very much for the support. So what I want to ask you folks is, should we place a limit on our support of Israel if they are going to engage in what really is an act of terrorism without telling America, knowing damn well that these countries that are victimized by this see no difference between Israel and America, likely believing that America probably provided Israel with the explosives to put in the pagers? Now, there's no guarantee we provided them with any damn thing, but I'm simply saying the world knows that Israel gets a hell of a lot of their weapons from us. Should we continue supporting Israel if they continue down this path? Make no mistake about it, October 7th was awful. The Israelis have a reason to be upset, angry, and vengeful. But at this point, I think it's safe for all of us to assume Israel is now on the offense. They are not defending the nation of Israel at this point. Most of this stuff is offensive maneuvers. At some point, should they have to stop? Or is the goal to the complete annihilation of Hezbollah, Hamas, and any other enemy out there? Just a complete annihilation of them. And what is America's part on the global stage in regards to supporting this? So I'm going to ask you folks, because at the end of the day, like I stated, these nations, if they get the chance, they may try to avenge what happened with the walkie-talkies, with the pagers, on Americans abroad. because this stuff is going to get blamed on us as well. So looking in the comments, I did want to thank you for that Teddy there. I think it was Robin Laredo. Thank you very much. So looking at the screen, are you against the annihilation of terrorist groups? Coon Ass 71. While I am in favor of getting rid of any group that's perpetrating terror on innocent folks, I do believe there has to be method to the madness. You can't just take out innocents under the guise that you're trying to take out terror. I mean, the way Israel engaged in this act with the pagers, this is not precise by any means. This is not precision striking. This is putting a bunch of little bombs into a country and detonating them at a perceived time. That's it. We're going to set these things off at 3 p.m. when most people are out busy, away from home, whatever the case may be. You don't know if somebody is standing on a crowded subway or a crowded bus or in a taxi cab with 5 or 6 other people, could be kids. You don't know. This is not precise activity by any means. This is almost akin to carpet bombing. Those things are going off everywhere. You don't know where that person is. Could be in a house of worship, anywhere. Anybody standing next to them are at risk of being killed. Now, I have seen some of the uncensored footage on some of the dark web, and there are, people's whole hands were blown off, their faces were blown off. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're sitting at a desk like I am now, and my pager goes off, if I can grab the page, you typically grab a pager and you hold it to your face like that to read the numbers. Depending on how good your eyesight is, maybe a little further back, whatever, but you're holding it up close. I mean, people's whole face were blown off. I seen a scene where, for you folks who are old enough, remember the movie Saving Private Ryan, where the character Tom Hanks was playing they were in a foxhole and he's talking to the radio man and he's telling the guy to radio in coordinates and call for assistance. And then he looks back over at the guy and the guy's whole face is gone. It's a fairly memorable scene if you've seen Saving Private Ryan. I've seen someone that experienced that, one of those pagers. I actually seen someone that looked like that. So I just want to point that out, that this is indiscriminate bombing. I don't know if I support that in regards to addressing terror. I mean, I get it. At the end of the day, there's a lot of countries that engage in terrorism, but that doesn't mean you have the right to take their children out and innocent people. I'm not a fan of it. So I'm asking you folks, should we continue backing them when they're doing this? And they didn't even give America the heads up that they were going to do it. They just did it. So those are our topics for today. Looking in the comments, we'll continue on. We should have already stopped supporting Israel, knowingly shooting missiles at playgrounds of kids. Yeah, I think they're just pissed off. They've been dealing with Hamas and some of these enemies in the region for so long. I think they really are in fucking mode. Whatever it hits, it hits. I think they're because we know Hezbollah and Hamas has that same mentality towards Israel. When they fire rockets, the rockets are unguided. I mean, they're literally like mortars. Whatever it hits, it hits. And I think Israel has decided we're going to be just as immoral as they are. But I'm asking you, as an American who wholeheartedly supports Israel, they're like one of our number one allies. Should we continue supporting them if they go down that road? Looking in the comments, guess what? Thank you for the super chat. Oh, is that what you would say to victims from October 7th? Yeah, it is. If I'm standing in front of a victim from October 7th, maybe a mom that lost her daughter, yeah, I would still tell her, making a Lebanese mom feel the same way you do is not a solution to it. Someone came to Israel and took out your child. I don't believe the solution is to go to Lebanon and take out somebody else's. No, I don't. Yeah, I would still tell them the same thing. I get your point, but not from that standpoint. It's harming children is wrong, even if you do it in revenge. At no point is it okay to harm children. even if it's a measure of getting revenge. It's still not okay. All right, going straight to the bots. And I see, Happy, you said targeted, not indiscriminate. When you're putting explosive device in pagers and walkie-talkies, that's not targeted because you have no knowledge who's going to have access to that pager or that walkie-talkie. As I stated, even let's say, for instance, the pager is owned by a genuine member of Hezbollah, a genuine enemy. You don't know if that pager is sitting on the kitchen counter. You don't know if that individual is riding around in the car with their kids or whatever. The likelihood of innocent casualties doing something like that is very high, very high, because you're literally making a human being blow up. So anybody else he may be around is going to get it too. You're literally making a person blow up. So yeah, that is indiscriminate. It certainly is not trying to avoid casualties. Something, you hear say, look, we got an enemy. Just like in Iraq, you got guided weapons. You're trying to avoid innocent casualties. That is not trying to avoid innocent casualties at all. I just like the ocean. All right, that's an interesting name. Good afternoon or welcome to the program. I just like the ocean. We should have already. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Say that again.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yeah. Loud and clear.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. 39, New York. I am, in the past I voted Democrat pretty much my entire life, but this election I have reservations on whether to vote third party or Democrat, precisely because of what you were just talking about. There are other instances of Israel perpetrating this war in just an obscene manner. Like last week, an American activist protester was shot by IDF for
I did
no
hear
reason.
That. You've been Democrat in the past, but due to what's going on over there, you're kind of hesitant. So you're not likely to switch from Kamala to Trump, though.
No. I think that Trump is just he is sort of the worst version of a very unconscionable policy that we have towards towards supporting Israel.
Explain. Elaborate. What do you mean by that?
So, for example, when college protesters basically galvanized the ceasefire movement earlier this year, and mainstream Democrats had to finally recognize that there is a kernel, or not a kernel, that there is a sensible demand there. They started to finally listen to them, and when uncommitted voters in the primaries expressed the fact that they may not vote for the Democratic candidate in the general election, the Democrats really started paying lip service to the idea of a ceasefire. That would not work with Trump at all. He would just continue supporting Israel unquestionably. Yeah.
But you're going to get. I agree with you that Trump is going to be more supportive of Benjamin Netanyahu than Kamala Harris ever will. But you will get some pushback from Kamala Harris. I mean, so you're saying it's not enough, maybe, for you to support her?
So I don't know how much pushback there will be, and I can cite a couple of instances where I'm very skeptical. For example, after October 7th, there have been a couple very fake but very rogue stories that had circulated in the media about Hamas. One being babies being decapitated.
Yeah.
That has since been proven to be false. Another one, the New York Times expose basically running with the line that there was mass scale SA and the word I don't want to pronounce.
Has that been proven to be false? Women being assaulted sexually? Has that been proved?
Yeah, on a mass scale, if you look at the publication called The Intercept, they did a deep dive on the New York Times story, and New York Times has since had to retract some claims and basically say that the story doesn't quite admit the fact that the story doesn't quite add up. Now, they didn't really do this in any loud or sensible way. They just kind of did it quietly. But if you look at The Intercept, which is a very credible publication, and look at Google Intercept New York Times essay story, you will find that it has largely been discredited. Now, on the other hand, there are now reports of Palestinian women being essayed in Israeli detention centers, and UN has documented the practice.
Wait! You said who's being assaulted?
Palestinian women. Women.
By the Israelis?
Yes.
Wow.
Look at what Google UN reports. Palestinian women being essayed in the detention centers. It's happening. Now, this is not something that's circulated in the American mainstream media because, for different reasons. But my point being is that during the last debate, Ms. Harris specifically referred to alleged essays being committed by Hamas, where in fact this hasn't been proven. Now
I get your point. You don't have, but let me say this though. We know that the Israelis are not even really letting journalists in on the ground to see what's happening. How do you know those alleged claims that they're assaulting Palestinian women? How do you know that's true?
So, like all war crimes, there is. And this is the part where you kind of have to step back and say some of this stuff will hopefully be settled in either a Truth Reconciliation Commission or an international tribunal that will happen hopefully at some point after this conflict.
To me, I'm not. Yeah, give me a source. Give me a source.
I can pull it up, and then perhaps you can speak while I pull this up, and I've been hoarding the mic anyway.
Yeah, because to me, this could be the propaganda we're talking about that came from Israel about what happened on October 7th. Well, the other side, where Israel is capable of doing its own propaganda as well. So, or better yet, the Palestinians are going to sell you a story of propaganda as well. I'm not saying they are lying about it, but if Israel is capable of lying that their women are being assaulted, you got to assume the Palestinians are capable of lying about it too.
So if I'm looking at a source, it's The Guardian, which is by no means like a left-wing or pro-Hamas publication. It's a major British newspaper. The headline from March 5th says, Palestinians beaten and sexually essayed at Israeli detention centers. UN report claims. UN report.
All right. I'd have to look it up.
That, unfortunately, is not something that is being highlighted or in any way even like... I don't want to say it's necessarily all true, but the fact that mainstream Democratic Party is not willing to concede that this may be happening is incredibly it's
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this in regards to Israel, because let's say you and I kind of agree that they may have went above and beyond morality. But is it strong enough that you would decide not to participate in this election? You said you've been voting Democrat. If you've been voting Democrat in the past, getting angry with Kamala Harris or the Democratic Party because of what's happening in Israel and sitting this one out for somebody like you is essentially a vote for Trump.
It's a little bit more complicated for me, the calculus. I will most likely vote Democrat or like progressive parties. We have Working and Family Party. I'm from New York. We have like other progressive candidates that run on the local level. I don't know what I'll do with my vote when it comes to the president. The vote between Kamala and Trump.
Yeah.
But in the calculus of the electoral college, I am considering voting third party in order to signal my displeasure, or perhaps to leave my ballot blank, because as we've seen this summer and this spring, the uncommitted vote movement has actually produced at least a result where...
Yeah, but that's a vote. Right now, that's a vote for Trump. I do got to move it on, but for right now, considering your politics, if you do what you're saying you're talking about doing, that helps former President Trump. There's no other way around it. It helps him out. We can talk about the uncommitted party and maybe you're helping that out too, but doing that right now, less than 50 days before the election, with your voting history, you are helping Trump out. I got to move it on, though. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
Anytime. Moving on with the program. In the comments, Bree Nicole says, does it really? Yeah. Okay, he's pissed off, like a lot of folks on the left are, about Israel going above and beyond and harming innocent people. But if you talk about his policies stateside, he's in this country, most likely they're going to be mostly liberal. I didn't ask him because I didn't see your comment, but most likely he's pro-choice, might be pro-minimum wage increase, pro-universal health care. Most of his policies probably lean left. So if he decides to sit it out, he is one less vote for people who agree with those policies in this country. The people who don't likely support Trump. Yeah, it's a vote, but yet it is an action that benefits Trump. That is one less enemy of the Trump re-election campaign. So yeah, that's the answer. Looking in the comments real quick, what time do you go on live now? I'm trying to get the time straightened. A lot of family obligations have moved my 1 o'clock slot. So right now I can't quite answer that. Trump for the win. Take America back. Vote for more taxes. Genius, smart felon. Wait a minute. Let me read that again. Trump for the win. Take America back. Vote for more taxes. Genius, smart felon. I don't quite get what you're saying there. I think there's some sarcasm in there, but I'm not quite sure. JDM says, I want to believe enough critical thinkers will show up to polls for Harris. Well, my last guest was somewhat of a critical thinker, and you heard what he just said. Going back to the box. By the way, tap the screen. Yeah! Appreciate that hat and mustache. I didn't see who sent that. I did want to acknowledge that. Thank you very much. I think that was a big trick. Thank you. All right, going back to the box. And yeah, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 20,000. We can make that happen. Guess what? He was a liar and needs to read the article instead of clickbait. What a sucker. He got his info off the Middle East Eye. Wow. That's my last. Now, that's guess what on YouTube stating that my last caller was a liar and needs to read the article instead of the clickbait. What a sucker. Now, I haven't read any of this, so I can't take a side in what he was stating. But as I pointed out, if Israel is willing to be dishonest about babies being decapitated and women being sexually assaulted, you got to assume Palestinians are capable of doing it as well. In most major conflicts, there is ample amount of dishonesty and lying coming from both sides. Both sides are trying to gain sympathy, so both sides are capable of lying. Continuing with the program, Michael. Good afternoon, Michael. Welcome to the program. It wasn't Israel that put that information out. It was a foreign newspaper. Well, in regards to the suggestion that babies were being harmed on October 7th, that came from Israel. I've seen Israeli Defense Force people on Fox stating it. So Israel was saying that women were sexually assaulted. That came directly from Israel. Michael, good evening.
What's going on, Tim? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, I had somebody tell me earlier today there is no reason at all to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's idiotic. That's idiotic. You and I both know that. Because there's really no equivalence between the character of these two and who you believe can be stable and that behind that resolute desk.
So wait. You said stable. Are you suggesting that Trump is unstable?
No, I'm not suggesting. I'm saying his ass is unstable. I'm not suggesting anything. He is about as unstable as it gets. And anybody that listen, let's just get down to it, Tim. If you cannot measure the two from that perspective. People can talk policy all they want. You know where I stand on that. I did want to.
But wait. Before you get into why you're here, how do you respond to folks that say Kamala Harris can't hold a candle to Trump when you compare his record, suggesting that the economy, suggesting the inflation, suggesting there was no major wars, suggesting that Trump, if you compare them two together, Trump can run on his record and run circles around Kamala Harris all day. I'm hearing that. How do you respond to that?
I mean, those are all high level talking points. When you dig into the detail, when you look at the detail from the beginning of his administration to the end, half of what people are talking about isn't even factual, right? So again, you and I talked about it about a week ago. Every president term gets a bump from the predecessor. So he came into it with a good economy from Obama. Even if we gave him a mulligan for the pandemic, because if you give him a mulligan for the pandemic, you also have to give Biden a mulligan for the pandemic because he inherited it.
Yeah.
But we're still dealing with Trump taxes. We'll be dealing with Trump taxes until 2025. So when people talk about inflation and tax, all this shit, it's still a carryover. At the end of the day, when you dig into the weeds, those people are not doing their research. They're not looking at the detail.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Sean 333 says, "Give the damn lady a chance." Well, Sean, you do know people are suggesting they never gave Trump a chance, so that's kind of a tit for tat. But you feel confident? Go ahead, Michael.
But he's right. No, but he's absolutely right because every first-term president wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Every president that was elected had never been there before. So at some point in time, America gave every president a chance. She's never been president. She's been vice president, right? And they're always trying to say she was there. Well, so was Pence. And I have yet to have one Trump supporter show me a Pence agenda of things that he did as a vice president because it's bullshit. Yeah. You and I both know that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I would rather than just say, I don't have a problem with him being a convicted felon. I don't have a problem having been an adjudicated rapist. I don't have a problem with any of the character flaws or the immoral things that he's done. I just would rather vote for him than this black woman in office. Just say it.
Well, they do say I'm voting for the felon, but they don't mention the race. You believe race is playing a part in this.
You know how I know? Again, I'm not guessing. I'm just following what they're doing on TV every damn day. There's race going on in Springfield, Ohio. There's race going in about the comments of the White House smelling like curry. And then J.D. Vance doubles down.
Oh my God! Yeah, when he said, "Look, I don't care if it's curry or fried chicken." Oh my God! Keep going. I can't even say nothing. I can't imagine he didn't realize what he was saying.
Well, that's because Tim, listen, and I appreciate your platform. I appreciate the fact that you get on here every day and want to offer the other side an opportunity to explain shit. I know because I've been watching you enough. I know you think 2/3 of this shit is bullshit, but I appreciate the fact that you
I didn't say that.
And listen to it. Well, I didn't say you said it. I said I know it. At the end of the day, I'm not listening to what anybody's telling me but them. How can you sit up there and make that comment, J.D. Vance, about curry and chicken and your wife is from Indian descent? What kind of person would say something that would go directly to their wife as if it's acceptable, it's okay? So nobody has to tell me whether it's about race or not. But I'd rather them just say it. I'd rather them, because I'm saying it, because they are throwing it right in our face. Just like somebody in the comments said, I've been black long enough. I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like. And I'm not voting for Kamala just because she's black. To that point earlier, from what I've already seen from Trump somebody else needs an opportunity to get in there and do better and be better. And she hasn't shown us anything in her character that is equivalent to these two. Her and Walz hasn't shown us anything at that level about their character that would make me think they can't sit behind that desk and be honest.
But what about the 4 years we had at Trump? I mean, many folks say he did a pretty damn good job in the White House. I mean, was it really that bad?
I understand what they're saying, and yes, it was that bad. Let me ask you this: I never felt that he was. It was never about the country. It's always been about him. This is not The Apprentice. That desk is supposed to mean something.
Appreciate that, Sean.
Democrat. It's supposed to mean something. He's supposed to represent the best of what America has to offer and has to be. And not only that, look who follows him, Tim.
Well, I'm gonna push back. First of all, we can tackle that because I already know what road that's going down. But first, before we talk about who follows him, you suggested that he didn't put the country first or whatever. Folks are going to point out that he didn't take a salary while he was president.
And well, he didn't take a salary from the U.S., but if you listen to some of the reports out there, he's been taking money from elsewhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had the emoluments clause. They were, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. And I'm going to say this to anybody that's listening, to yourself and me. If you wake up and everybody that follows you come from a certain subset of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to kind of ask yourself, what are you doing to attract those people if you really give a damn? Just be honest. If you open your door every day and you got a bunch of, I'm gonna use this because it fits in sprinklers. You got a bunch of cats just showing your door and they're there every damn day. Or you must be thinking something's going on at your door.
That's an excellent example. I'll go into more detail on the other side, but that's an excellent example. Wow. Yeah, I don't have a comeback for that. And I'm usually able to play devil's advocate. I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna certainly talk about that on the other side. I do gotta move it on, but I don't have any. I would like to defend Trump, but in this case I can't because I know what you're talking about. Appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
Anytime. Now, real quick before I move on, that was a good comparison he stated. Look, if you're a Haitian and there's all kinds of cats hanging around your crib or something like that, it does look suspect. And I will say this, I've said this before. There are two types of racially oriented folks in our society. One being the civil rights leaders like Al Sharpton's, Jesse Jackson's. I mean, hell, even the Colin Kaepernick types have gotten involved lately. There's a few congressmen. I can't think of a couple of them that just passed away. But we have basically civil rights leaders. They eat, sleep, and breathe racial issues. You're going to often hear that from civil rights. Like Ben Crump is another one. And that's one type. The other type would be KKK, white supremacist groups, Aryan Nation. This is similar to the civil rights groups. They also see a lot of race in things throughout American life. And I will, in echoing what my last caller said, I don't know what's in Trump's heart, but both of those groups seem to think that Trump has racial overtones. Whether it is the supremacists in that group, they all seem to favor him, or if it's the civil rights leaders, they all seem to think he's I don't know why that is, but his cat analogy was similar to that. So it made me think of that. Listen, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not saying the man is racist. I don't know what's in his heart, but that is interesting. That the groups that are fighting for civil rights think he's against minorities, and the groups that are fighting against minorities think the same thing as well. I don't know why. Because if remember Biden, vote for me and you ain't black, and Kamala Harris allegedly locking up a hell of a lot of black men back in. You notice there's none of those groups are flocking towards them. Joe Biden stated, vote for me and you ain't black. That's been like 4 years ago. You haven't even heard the right talking about a bunch of white supremacist groups showing up and endorsing Biden, believing that he don't like black people. You haven't seen that. So the cat analogy did resonate. All right, look into the comments. I see someone is bringing up Central Park 5, but I mean, look, I don't want to go too far back in history. That's current, what I just talked about. That is a current thing where the groups that eat, sleep, and breathe racial issues seem to be in sync about former President Trump. Maybe they're all wrong. Maybe Trump certainly has an open heart and loves everybody, and maybe all these people are wrong. But that is the case. It seems like both the civil rights groups and the groups that openly preach hatred all seem to have the same opinion about Trump. I don't know why. I'll say I don't know why for the sake of this. I'll leave it to you folks. Is your favorite flavor of ice cream lead? No, I would hope not. I would hope not. You don't normally get more than one scoop of that. Lord Mobile RV says you do a historical tradition precedent analysis, and it goes back to the Magna Carta on further. I don't quite get what you're talking about in regards to the Magna Carta. It takes one to know one. That's why they follow him, says Safety King. Yikes. Fancy. You mean like the ones who loved him before he became president? Yeah, that's a good point, Fancy. A lot of folks point out, I'll go back to the box. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 30,000. We can certainly make that happen on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So you're going to hear opinions you think are ridiculous and others that you favor. We are MAGA friendly, been MAGA friendly since day one. MAGA are our preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Everyone gets to speak. Fancy, you are correct in stating a lot of folks who favored Trump, hung around Trump, went out with him, are also all of a sudden now preaching all sorts of negativity about the president. Why is that? Is it, are they just making this shit up or whatever the case may be? I'll tell you right off the bat, if you look at former President Trump, whether it's in the news, whether it's on shows like Oprah, whether it's quotes, listen to what he was saying during that period of time when everybody was hanging around him versus what he's saying now. It's a different guy. It's a different guy. So we're expecting all of these folks, rapper Nelly got a song out that mentions his name. We know Don King and Mike Tyson. Well, Mike Tyson still likes Trump, but a lot of blacks liked Trump. But what we are ignoring is the fact that Trump has changed a lot of his views, and we're acting baffled why people who used to like Trump are changing their stance on him. I mean, he was pro-choice. There are literal videos of him saying you don't need AR-15s, you don't need that type of firepower. He once stated the economy is better when Democrats run the country. I mean, he's a changed guy. So when you ask, well, why don't they like him now? Well, he's saying different stuff. He's not acting the same way he used to. Maybe as he's aged, he's changed his views on some subjects. Well, that's going to affect how people think of you. The damage that they did to him is done, says Eric's Crystal. Well, I don't know what kind of damage that they quote unquote do to him, but he certainly is acting on whatever perceived damage you're talking about. And it is what it is. All right, going back to the box. Takesha Bowie. Good afternoon, Takesha. Welcome to the program. Not one reason to vote for Kamala Harris, Takesha. What say you?
Child, please. So they got reason to vote for a man who sit up and said like a 2-year-old, I hate.
You're talking about Taylor Swift.
I hate.
Taylor Swift.
I hate Taylor Swift. He sounded like a 2-year-old.
Why do you think he did that?
I hate Taylor Swift. What grown man sits up and breaks out, I hate Taylor Swift? A couple of months ago, you were saying, I don't know, I like her. Now all of a sudden you hate Taylor Swift. What? I teach my 5-year-old grandbaby not to say foolishness like that. He's a big child.
Well,
what do we vote for him for?
The economy.
Child, please.
You don't think Trump can get the economy back on track?
I do not. No, ain't that wrong with the economy, handsome? Did you see what the Federal Reserve did?
Yeah, they're going to lower interest rates.
How much they going to lower it?
I didn't see it. I didn't see the percentage, but I put.
It's a half percentage of a point.
Yeah.
That's very good, handsome. And you know why they're doing that? Because inflation is 12.5. Because inflation is 2.5%, and the economy is doing well. That's why, handsome.
In the comments, Irish.
I don't care.
But I got you fired today. Irish MAGA says they're doing it because it's an election year. Are they not trying to boost up Kamala Harris' chances of winning?
Child, please. Them folks ain't finna play with their interest rate like that. If they didn't trust the way that the inflation has come down. Ain't nobody understand what they talking about no election year. Everything good happen, they gonna swear it's cause of the election year. I'm not even gonna pay attention to that right there. Let's move on, handsome.
But you know what they're saying about that. The liberals will do the same. The liberals will do the same thing. Come on now, Takesha.
Handsome.
I've
never been one of those that said nothing was going on during the election year, because I would give a god doggone what going on during the election year. I watch people the entire year, and y'all keep bragging about Trump and the economy, and he only added 1% to the GDP out of 4 years. That wasn't about shit.
So let me ask you, because folks in the comments are suggesting you might be coming down with Trump derangement syndrome. Can you come up with?
I don't have derangement syndrome. I don't like Trump's ass syndrome. How about that? I'm not deranged. I just don't like his divisive ass.
Okay.
How about that?
Fair enough. But let me ask you this. Just being fair, I have to ask you. Can you come up with one redeeming quality of Trump? Did he do anything right?
No.
4 years, not one right thing.
No.
And that's not just blind hatred for the guy?
No. I don't see no good in Trump at all whatsoever. No.
Now, come on now.
And I ain't gonna see it. And I ain't gonna see it when he said he want to take it back 300 years. And I ain't gonna see nothing then either. What about
the fact that when he was president, he got us down to 3.5% in regards to unemployment? At the time, I think
he can't get us down to nothing.
Yeah, he did. You're not giving him credit.
I'm not giving him credit for nothing that he inherited. He ain't built no economy. If Obama had still been doing bad and Trump had built that thing to where it was, I'd have gave him some credit. But you ain't gonna come in here taking the person. That's just like you being a CEO of a company, and they fire you. And the person that came in right behind you just picked your folder up with your work in it, and he get the credit for your work. I'm not giving Trump credit for nothing.
Okay, what about this one? Because he was threatening our NATO member allies, he was able to make them fork up and pay properly.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. Their defense budgets.
Handsome. The reason we were paying more money is because we got more damn money. Do y'all understand how the payments go when it comes to that?
So you're saying that he didn't get them to pay their proper share on their defense budgets?
No.
I don't know. I have not heard that. I think
you watching Fox News. The folks got sued for being a liar, and you keep watching them folks. Why? You just like a Trump supporter. You want to keep voting for a liar. You keep watching Fox News. They've been proven and sued to be a liar, and you keep running over there watching them.
Well,
I ain't gonna tell you nothing bad about Trump.
Well, wait a minute. I didn't say I sit around watching Fox News all day, but when you say liar,
watches it. That's your show.
Huh?
You like that? That's your show. You probably got a shirt on with an F on the front that stands for Fox. Because you think you're Foxy, so you want to equate that to Fox News. I know what you can. Hit some Fox News.
You don't make this easy at all, dude. You don't make it easy at all.
I can't listen to you, but seriously though, I give Trump credit for nothing but making this country more divided. I give him credit for tearing up families. I give him credit for tearing up homes. I give him credit for making the races more think they can approach you. I guess they forgot we're different black people. I give him credit for being a divider in chief.
You said we are different black people. For the audience at home, explain that.
Quit playing with us. We not the ones y'all used to sit in the field and scare. We not them.
Okay. All right,
no, I don't give him credit for anything. And like the man said, how can they know what she gonna do if she don't have a chance? They've been giving these white men all these chances all these years. Yeah. They ain't have no problem giving them no chance. Yeah. What's wrong with giving her one?
Yeah, but what about the notion that we do have a lot of unvetted immigrants in this country? Don't know where the hell they came from, and Kamala Harris don't seem to have a plan to do anything about it.
We don't know where the ones that live here come from.
Huh?
They the one doing all the when the children get unalived at a school, is it by a foreign person?
No, not at all. No, it never is.
If I'm walking down the street and I'm looking for a foreign person to do something to me, absolutely not. Because them folks working and mind their own business. These folks ain't scared of it. Listen, handsome. It's all a scare tactic. These folks ain't scared of the immigrants. The ones who talking about, they're over here raping. They lying. They ain't scared of them folks. Half of them got to working on their fence right now. It's just a talking point they can jump in on, and they want to keep it going. These folks ain't scared of no immigrants, baby. They go to the bar with them, they party with them and everything. Tell these folks to quit faking the funk.
But I'm hearing, I hate to take it this way, but I'm going to go and get this to you. I'm watching videos, social media, YouTube. Apparently, there is a town in Ohio where pets are being consumed by immigrants.
Let me say this. The lady who made the Facebook post, they probably ain't showed it on Fox. That's probably why you don't know nothing about it. The lady that made the post on Facebook and said that her friend told her that her friend came out the house looking for her pet, and the next day she saw her pet hanging on a tree in the neighbor yard, and the neighbor was Haitian. That's the story where they got it from. She came out and said now she's getting threatened because people found out she the one put the story out. Now all of a sudden she talking about she fear for her safety and her family. Then they asked the lady, she said she got it from. Get what that lady said.
What?
Well, I'm not a real reliable source.
What is she talking Carlson all of a sudden? All right, Takesha.
This is ridiculous. And I want people to quit believing all these videos they see. Because guess who made a video? R. Kelly. He made it with Whitney Houston after she died, and they on there singing together, I Look to You. You think Whitney was alive when R. Kelly made that video?
No, not likely.
Okay, that means videos can be manipulated. Quit falling for... You know what? Let me say this, then I'm going to let you go. Common sense and critical thinking are a thing of the past because nobody is using their common sense nor their critical thinking skills. And that's why this story is running from Pennsylvania to Louisiana. When this man is set up and said, if I got to create a story.
Yeah.
That's what J.D. Vance said. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, Tim. If you think J.D. Vance ain't still another Trumper, you done lost your mind. That man ain't did nothing positive since he been the vice president nominee, since Trump been picked him. He ain't said nothing positive. Everything he say is tainting this man re-election bid. So believe me, he ain't never sabotage it. He ain't trying to help Trump win.
Wow. All right, Takesha, you drive a hard bargain. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. And I will say something to echo what she stated. I brought that up when now she kicked my ass as always, and I love Takesha coming through. But what I will say is this: I said the same thing about a week or two ago that J.D. Vance has caused so much turmoil to the Trump campaign that he might indeed be a double agent, stating that he is for Trump with all of that, Trump is Hitler stuff he has out in the past. And maybe he is inside trying to sabotage him. I actually said that about a week or two ago. Because everything from the childless cat ladies, which is, literally brought out the ire of Taylor Swift and I don't know how many millions of fans. What she just pointed out, I don't think J.D. Vance, since coming on the scene, has done one thing that's beneficial to the Trump re-election campaign. The Haitian immigrant, all of that came from him. That could be possible. I actually stated listen, at the end of the day, I believe the only reason Trump picked J.D. Vance is because he was going to easily beat Joe Biden, and he wasn't concerned with trying to get additional voters. I don't believe if Trump was running against Kamala Harris, he would have picked J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance hasn't Trump was already going to win Ohio. he was already going to win the evangelicals. J.D. Vance has not helped Trump's campaign out at all. But the things we're discussing here shows he's actually hurt it. Now, it would be interesting if that turns out to be that way, because J.D. Vance's life would be in danger if it turns out he was a double agent. I see in the comments, though, for the love of bag says J.D. Vance is so good. You may favor his policies. I get it. But what he is doing for the Trump re-election campaign is not good. It's not good. He's not getting everybody that listens to J.D. Vance and apply. They're already, all of them folks are going to vote for Trump anyway. I don't see where Trump is really, where J.D. Vance is really bringing in additional votes to the Trump campaign at all. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm blind, but I do believe Trump was going to get all of the folks that support him anyway. I don't see, J.D. Vance is further to the right of Trump. Seemed like he would have went with somebody a little bit more moderate, but that's my opinion. J.D. Vance has his own agenda, says Raven. Could be. Have you heard RFK lately? No, actually, I have not, Jokers, Moker. No, I have not heard from RFK at all. Maybe he should have put RFK out there. What say you? Going back to the box, make me, what does that say? Good afternoon. If the box is always problem, we'll see what happens. Every time Trump says Kamala made a bad VP pick, he's referring to his own picks as Mink all day. Yeah, like I said, I'm not seeing it. I personally, myself, I'm not seeing the benefit of picking J.D. Vance. I really believe that everybody who likes J.D. Vance is already going to vote for Trump. Let's try to go back to the box again, since it's having some problems. Once again, thank you for that tapping the screen. Get the likes up to around 50,000. Janae, good afternoon.
I'm glad I got a chance to come up so I can debunk what Keisha said.
Let's have it. What you got?
Hater. That is a hating woman. I'll tell you that. Not a Christian. Anyway.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'll let you speak. But
that's a hating woman. That's a hating woman.
Her criticism of Trump leads you to say she's not Christian?
She's hateful. Anyone that's gonna sit there and bash the other side that way, yeah, sorry. They call me a non-Christian, so let's be honest. Hold on one second. I do want to say something to your other person that came up, because I think someone in there said something about, hey, no one ever brings up Pence, what Pence did. He actually did a lot, and I can bring it up if you'd like.
Well, before you bring it up, I will echo that sentiment. By the way, Big Dog, yeah, thank you for the hat mustache supporting the program. I will say that you hear the folks from the right, MAGA, Trump supporters, Republicans, say that Kamala Harris is responsible for all the perceived failures of the Biden administration. I don't hear MAGA giving Mike Pence credit for any of the stuff, and they believe Trump was one of the best presidents in recent history. They're not celebrating Mike Pence. Explain.
Well, I'll give him credit. I'm different than everyone else, though.
Okay.
I see both sides. So I'll tell you right now, he actually, and I'll just touch on this because I don't really want to stay on this. I just wanted to say a couple of things that I remember of what he did, which was rebuilding the nation's space programs, which was huge. You guys may have forgotten, but he did. He also staffed a lot of the people that were in federal government. He raised a lot of money for, obviously, election season, which a lot of them usually do. He traveled the world, and what he did do, which I love, is he actually spoke with a lot of veterans. He went around and visited a lot of veterans. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but a lot of that budget that you know people say, oh yeah, well Trump spent so much money. A lot of it went towards, honestly, buying new military equipment. You know, our military have had that equipment in there forever. Handsome.
I gotta say though, I think more Americans would feel the same way you do if Trump and Trump supporters weren't bashing the hell out of Mike Pence so much. Most of the, if you listen to Trump and Trump supporters for the last 4 years, most of their commentary on Mike Pence is negative. Some folks are calling him rhinos and a sellout. I haven't heard anything positive about this guy.
Yeah, but see, this is the difference between them and me, and whoever may do that, because it goes on both sides. Let's be honest. I'll be the first person. I say this all the time. I'm probably the only person that says this all the time, but I could name, because I have been in politics for a long time. I do my due diligence. I am a conservative Republican. I'm not a mega.
How is this? How does this go on both sides? What Democratic president has bashed? Wait, hold on. Let me frame the question first.
Because you let Takesha just let me just get through, please, and then let me just get through this.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you got.
Okay, because I will let people know. I could name, and I don't call them rhinos. I don't know what the hell a rhino is. I just call them unfaithful.
Really?
Bottom line, we have people in I'm talking about Republican Party that are too old, that needed to leave, like, I don't know, decades ago, because they are so set in their ways. They've been there for a long time, Tim, and I think you know this, as well as the other side. You've got the Pelosi's, the Schumers. These people, I mean, Pelosi runs that. You know she ran that White House. You know she ran that Capitol. So let's be honest with each other, because there are both sides. What I mean by both sides is what I mean. You can't say that one side's better than the other.
I disagree with what you're saying, though.
As well as the politicians are all dirty.
Okay. Here's when you said both sides, the reason I was trying to frame the question is I don't know any Democratic president that has bashed their own VP. I don't see both sides in that. Give me an example of a Democratic president that bashes their own vice president.
I don't know, because I don't agree with that, so I wouldn't know. I won't listen to stuff like that. I'm sure people, the one thing I'll give the Democrats credit for, but it's not good credit, is that they stick together no matter what. Hence the logo or the analogy, vote blue no matter who. It's gross. I would never do that. Never. I mean, you got to vote on policies, and these people don't do that.
So
you hear this.
So
and I can't tell you, Democrats. I don't know, because I don't know your side of the street. Sorry, handsome.
I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you because I'm amazed you don't know what a rhino is. So I'm going to give you some other.
I do know what a rhino is. I do know what I don't use that terminology. That's all. Okay,
then you're speaking on something that when I'm talking about Trump supporters, you don't. So are you a Trump supporter at all? Are you MAGA?
Okay, listen. Yes, listen to me. Stop it. Don't call me MAGA.
No, I asked, are you?
Listen to me. This is the thing. This is what it is. A lot of us, actually, I would say 95% of us, we are Trump supporters. Okay? Now, MAGA is a brand. And until MAGA is actually on the ballot, there's no such thing as a MAGA. It is a brand. You can buy merch.
So are you saying that?
I know that when I go vote, it's not going to say MAGA on there. I'll tell you that.
So you're saying there's no such thing. There's no such thing as Q either. There's no such thing as Q either, then, right? Because it's not on the ballot.
I guess. I mean, is it on the ballot? Show me if it's on the ballot, Tim.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, Black Lives Matter is not on the ballot. That doesn't make any sense.
Q on the ballot? I haven't seen Q or MAGA on the ballot. You know, it's funny because it's okay for them to call us racist, maggots, demons, horrible things. These things that they call us is crazy.
And you think Wait, hold on. Now you're saying it's crazy to call you. You think calling Kamala Harris Comrade Kamala is okay?
Who says, you mean Trump saying that?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that. I mean, you know what? I don't agree with either side throwing jabs, but that's politics. I think we both know that. That's the dirty side. Come on, Tim, you're old enough. That's the dirty side of politics. There's jabs for jabs. Don't act like Trump is the first person that hasn't taken jabs at the Democratic Party. You guys all clutch your pearls like he's the first candidate that's ever thrown.
I'm clutching my pearls. I'm clutching my pearls because what the level of attacks from Trump is different than any other politician in the past. I mean,
you know who he attacks? He attacks the government. He does not attack people like I'm talking about us as like civilians, like Hillary Clinton. Actually, I just heard Kamala a couple of times attack us, and as well as who else died? Pelosi, Schumer, Maxine Waters. These people are evil.
Let me ask you this question.
Hold on.
Your responses are very long.
Trump goes after the government.
Okay.
Different.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm gonna give you 4 words because you stated Trump goes after the government. I'm gonna give you 4 words and I want you to elaborate on it. 4 words. I hate Taylor Swift. Can you explain that?
I can't explain that. I don't like that. I would never say that. I don't like her. I've always taught my kids, and I don't like the word hate.
You said he goes after the government. You said government.
She's part of the elite. Sorry, she's part of that. When I think of government, I'm not sticking up for that.
Taylor Swift is part of the government?
And I'm not going to stick. Hold on, I'm not going to stick up for that. She's not part of the government. She's part of that system, which is the elite system. Has she never bashed Trump? She bashed the living daylights out of him. So maybe it's tit for tat, handsome. I mean, these people are bashing the shit out of them, but yet you don't want retribution going on?
So, do you believe Colin Kaepernick is part of the government?
I'm coming after you.
Do you believe Colin Kaepernick is part of the government? He went after him too.
I don't know how when he went out. Why are we? Can we talk about Kamala?
It was you that stated he goes after the government. When I start giving you folks that are non-government, you want to turn the subject off.
He does. He goes after the government, the politicians, the 3-letter agencies. I think you know where I'm going with this. The elites, the celebrities. I mean, need I say more?
So, in other words, he doesn't go after unknown people.
Talk about what's going on with Diddy right now, why he's being charged because of child trafficking. Yeah, there's shit that goes on in the celebrity world that no one wants to open up their eyes to. It's not just Diddy, sweetheart. There's a lot more out there like that.
Okay.
Tim.
So when he goes after the moderators like Megyn Kelly and these ABC moderators, are they government too?
I think that's just a tit for tat. I'm not going to stick up for that. There's a lot of things that Trump may say that I don't like, that I cringe at, but there's a lot of things that Biden used to say that I cringe at, that I don't like, and there's a lot of things Kamala says that I cringe at, that I don't like. It's par for course. Not everyone's going to like the politician or the VP or the former president, what they say. I don't know what to tell you. I cannot put the words back in his mouth.
Okay. Well, I do got him.
I can't stick up for someone that's going to have that kind of rhetoric. I can't. I won't stick up for Trump for that. I won't.
All right. Well, I do got to move it on, but the only reason I wanted to bring this up. Huh?
But let me tell you, can I just say a couple things?
Go ahead.
Quick,
I'll wrap it up. Go ahead.
Because Hillary just recently put the Republicans and said basically that if there's any more rhetoric or any more memes or shit like that, we should all be put in prison. Okay, she's talking about the Republicans. I've yet to ever hear our side ever do that or say that about the Democrats. As well as Pelosi, she had a smear campaign. I've got a full video of a ton of Democratic people, whether it's politicians, Democratic Party, just saying that they get in front of their face, do this. They are creating division, and they're creating, just like Kamala needs to stop with all her stuff, because she is going to eventually, these threats by saying that he is a threat to our democracy. First of all, we're a republic, let's be honest. And he is not a threat, because what happens, you've got those nutbags that are out, let's be honest, a lot of nutbags that are out there that will definitely take that and run with it. Hence the two attempted assassinations. And today, he's in guess what? I want everyone to hear this. He's in New York, guys. 60,000 people at a rally.
Okay.
The last time someone.
All right. Okay. I do gotta move it. I gave you a chance. Hold on. You got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. Wrap it up.
First time former president, basically in decades, that has been able to go into a blue state and be able to rally. I mean, you guys should be scared. Sorry, but you should. Cali is the same way. I'm from Cali. As well as, let's see, Kamala lied about, this is the last thing, and I promise I'll wrap it up.
You can wait.
Kamala lied her ass off when she said that our military isn't in a combat zone. Now, she might be right on, we're not in war, I get that, but that was a blatant lie. We have over 900 people in Syria, military, as well as over 2,500
Okay.
in Iraq.
Okay, I gotta move it on. Janae, you covered so many topics. I can't even respond to all of them, but thank you for coming through.
I just had to.
All right, well, don't worry about it. You can come on back anytime, but we do have to keep it within a block because other people are waiting.
No worries. No worries. I just wanted to get that across.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Anytime, Janae, anytime. So I just want to respond to a couple of things she said, but first, Gabe R on YouTube is tearing me a new one. Says, I like you, Tim, but you remind me of CNN and MSNBC. When you talk to the left, you let them rant with their derangement, but with the right, you're on the attack. I didn't let you're suggesting that my female guest before her, Takesha, I let rant. Did you hear Takesha telling me I watched too much Fox News and was going in on me? I didn't let her rant. She was just beating my ass. I was pushing back on her too. So I don't get why you say that. Did I not give Trump credit for the economy and things like that? She just disagreed. Did I not bring up Trump's 3.5% unemployment rate? She just disagreed. So I pushed back. You just didn't. Maybe you didn't see it as much. Will G. MAGA will find every reason to demonize Democrats and victimize themselves like Vance victimized himself after creating the Haitian story. There's some validity to that. There's a little bit of, certainly in regards to that Haitian immigrant story, a lot of folks on the right are like, why do we have to keep talking about this cats and dogs? Well, he shouldn't have brought it up. This is very similar to January 6th or the whole putting the baby to the side and deciding whether to execute it. A lot of MAGAs like, why do we have to keep talking about that stuff? Why do we got to keep talking about the 2020 election? Because these are things that are not making the right look good. So I understand why you don't want to talk about it, but hey, Trump is talking about it. And I see in the comments says wasn't created. Well, the powers that be can try to believe that it was. So I'll leave it at that. And look, the governor of Ohio is Republican. The mayor of Springfield, Ohio is Republican. Why isn't the Republican Party going after them if they're lying? Because every interview they have, they're saying that what Trump and J.D. Vance is saying is not true. You don't hear Trump or Vance chastising them at all. Shouldn't they be considered rhinos or something of that nature? They're clearly saying Trump is lying. Why isn't Trump and Vance going after them for not defending what they say is the truth? I want to point that out. That whole town, all of the professionals in that town are saying that that is not happening. You got citizens that are saying that the Haitians are doing that, but there's also a bunch of citizens that saying the Haitians are not doing it. So where is the dog catcher? Where is the folks that work in the pound? Where is the folks who work in professional, I'm having a Biden moment, professional positions of prominence? You can't find any of those? I believe it was created. I'm just going to say that. I believe it's created. Mowgli says this woman is bitter, referring to my last guest. Did any of you folks think my last guest was bitter? She was passionate. She was passionate about her opinions. I'll leave it at that. Because when my guest before her, Takesha, was on, she always gets credited with the angry black woman syndrome or whatever. A lot of folks don't like to hear passionate women speak. They're welcome here. Will G, I can't wait for the Vance v. Walz debate. That is going to be good. Tim Walz versus J.D. Vance. Yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to that. Okay, I want to point out a couple of things before I go back to the box. Tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 60. Can we make that happen? Almost 800 of you in here. Show the program some love. Tap the screen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section. You damn sure do not have to agree with the host. That's how it works. Pat Carlson, yeah! Thank you for the hat and mustache. I appreciate the support. She mentioned a couple of things like Hillary Clinton memes and things like that, and Hillary Clinton suggesting that Republicans should be put in prison. I don't know if she realizes, but Hillary Clinton sustained probably about 7 years of Trump saying that she should be put in prison. Do we really want to go after Hillary Clinton for saying Democrats should be put in prison after what the Republicans said about her? I just wonder, I don't know if she was thinking about that when she was saying that. She also talked about things that are posed online in regards to the memes. She said Hillary Clinton is talking about if you post memes and things like that, I suppose anti-democratic memes or anti-Haitian memes or something like that, you should be put in prison. That's a violation of free speech. If Hillary Clinton is suggesting that things online should lead to you going to prison, it's a violation of free speech. But what I wanted to push back on her was, but she wanted to state her point uninterrupted. But Trump is talking about giving you a year in prison for burning a flag. While you may agree with that you should not be able to burn Old Glory, it is protected free speech. It is protected. So bringing up Hillary trying to ban free speech, let's say a la Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook censoring or what, Trump is talking about giving you a year in prison for burning a flag. That is a violation of your First Amendment rights. A violation is a violation. I don't want to get us to ever get to the point where we say it's okay to violate somebody's constitutional rights if you're doing this, but not that. A violation is a violation. I'm not a fan of violating your First Amendment rights on any way, fashion, or form. Also, she talked about it's wrong to suggest Trump is a threat to democracy. There's a lot of Democrats doing that, no doubt. There's a lot of Democrats suggesting that former President Trump is a threat to democracy. She's saying that's wrong. Fair enough, but you do realize the right is saying that the left are fascists, Marxists, socialists, communists. What's the difference? You're not going to get democracy under some of those groups either. So the right is saying the same thing about the left. They're just not saying it verbatim. But when you're calling Kamala Harris a Marxist, a socialist, a communist, a fascist, you're basically saying she's a threat to the current democracy we have. So how is it wrong? I want to point this out from both sides. Anyhow, going back to the box, and I see in the comments, Rosemar, what does that says? Rosemar says that's facts. Trump is a threat to democracy. Well, some people do believe that. We have a republic, not a democracy, says John. She corrected that and said the same thing. Whatever the case may be, folks believe that Trump is a threat to the republic, and the right believes that Kamala Harris is also a threat to the republic. They're just not saying it word for word. It's the same thing. In the comments, Jay says January 6th, go away. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Let me go back to the box. Real quick in the comment section here. I don't know what I just did there. Pat Carlson, thank you for holding, Pat. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Hanging out like Mike Pence as usual. What's up?
You made a comment earlier that I wanted to hit on first. You said that Trump didn't take a paycheck. Bullshit. 100% bullshit. And the reason I say that is look at all the Secret Service and all he made stay in his hotel at outrageous rates. He also diverted military planes away from where they normally would fuel and such over to where another airfield to where they had to stay in his hotels. He went and took money from foreign governments where they rented entire blocks of his property, never stayed a day in the properties. So to say he never took a paycheck, what he would have made as being president is pale in comparison to what he took elsewhere.
Now let me speak from a technicality, legalese standpoint. I said he never took a paycheck. I didn't say he never made money. I do recall the emoluments clause being brought up because he was doing so much of what you're saying. But technically, although it sounds like I'm full of shit, technically I am right. He didn't take a check. I didn't say he didn't make money.
So you're saying that none of those people, when they put that money into his bank account, that wasn't a check? Yes, it was. And the American people are the ones that paid for all those hotels. So yes, he did take a paycheck. You can swing it any way you want. but the American people paid him a paycheck for what he did. Now, on that last lady, she said that he only attacked politicians.
We know that. Yeah, that's false. You can defeat. You can attack it, but we know that's false.
That's bullshit. Look at all of the people of color and the immigrants that he has called rapists, murderers, thieves, and everything else.
Yeah.
Those people, you know, what? All those people are in government? No, they're not. I mean, I am shocked that any person of color even wants to vote for him. You know, look at the Central Park 5. Those 5 kids, they were kids at the time they went to jail.
Yeah.
They were pressured by cops, you know, and he took out a full-page ad to hang them. And even after it was proven that they did not do this, did he retract it? No, he doubled down on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't deny the whole Central Park 5 response from Trump doesn't look good. I mean, once you found out, I mean, because they were not just exonerated. It turns out the police that actually got the confessions out of them should probably have faced some kind of punishment. They used sleep deprivation, told them lies like, if you confess to raping and murdering this person, we'll let you go home. I mean, what they did to those 5 young men was, yeah, I don't even have, I mean, and Trump knows that. Why he would double down on that, I don't have any explanation for it. But does that mean he's intolerant towards black people, though?
I put it this way: if he gets back into office, he said he's going to do the biggest deportation there is, right?
Yeah.
Let's face it, anybody of color, I don't care whether you were born here in the United States or whether you were born in another country, you better be watching your ass, because he will be sending your ass off someplace.
So you believe that if Trump gets reelected, American-born people of color will still be at risk?
If they can't 100% prove that they were born here in the U.S., I could see Trump doing that. And even if they were, I could still see Trump doing that.
Damn.
Trump is a racist.
What if he's
a racist? I don't care.
What has he done or said other than that Central Park 5? Other than, man, I don't want to go down this, but I'm just gonna say, other than his not renting apartments, lawsuit or what else has he done to make you believe he's a racist, though?
I can't, right off the top of my head, but he makes racist remarks. Not only for people of color, but for even when what was it? When he said, "Well, there's good people on both sides." Instead of condemning the people, there's good people on both sides. What was it? I can't remember.
You're talking about Charlottesville. You're talking about Charlottesville.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but people are going to say there were peaceful protesters out there defending the Confederate statue or whatever, and they were good people. Everybody there was not engaged in any act of violence. He's going to say that, look, some of these folks were good.
Oh, but there it was a love fest January 6th too. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that as well. What's really complicated, because I do want to, I always like to be able to play devil's advocate and see the other side, but the minute I shoot down or even try to shoot down one thing you say, you just can jump right to something else that really shouldn't be there. Because you're right, he went from good people on both sides. Now he said this is a love fest. That stuff really shouldn't be there for you to bring up. But there's so much of it that I'm like, I don't know how much more I can take it is trying to defend him. But because it should not be there to even use.
Let's look at this dogs and cats thing. All right, Vance basically said he made that whole thing up just to, as he put it, to get the news media to show the problems in Springfield.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and now I heard, I think it was that last lady or the one before that, someone, I think it was the last lady, saying that there's people coming out about that. Well, here a few days back, I don't remember which guest it was that was telling you, hey, let's you and I go over to Springfield and have a tug of war over a cat and film it and make millions of dollars. Remember that remark?
Yeah, I do. God
These
damn.
same people, these people, they're saying, "Oh wow, hey, I got an idea. Let's do just that." Whether they heard you guys' conversation or not, the fact that was put in their head.
Yeah.
You don't think these people aren't thinking, "Hey, let's come up with videos and sell these videos to the news media so we can make a buck."
I don't disagree with that because
Prior to that, did you see any videos? No. As you said, the governor and the mayor, they're saying this shit ain't happening.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I mentioned that when Trump first said that. Me personally, I said that I would happily have went to Springfield to film somebody eating a dog or a cat because you're right. It would have been worth millions of views because everybody was scrambling to defend former President Trump and J.D. Vance's statement. So everybody was looking. If I could have had some solid video, walking into a Haitian's home, watching them prepare a cat, that video would be worth 100 million views. I would have been willing to give them damn near $1,000 to let me film that. So yeah, I agree that people would go to that town and look for this stuff because they have to find some kind of way to make what Trump said more valid. And right now they haven't been able to do that.
Well, let's face it. They don't even have to go to that town to do it. They can make that video any place and say, "Yeah, I was in that town and this took place." They don't have to prove that video was shot there.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's what's happening. I have been sent video of cats being consumed, and one of them was in Haiti or was in Cambodia. So I mean, a lot of stuff they're sending, they're like, well, that's their custom. That's what they do with their culture. Yeah, but they're not doing it in Springfield, Ohio. You're sending me videos that are international. Send me something from Springfield, Ohio, like Trump said is happening. And I haven't seen anything. But I got to move it on, Pat. Appreciate your holding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They talk about the geese there, too?
Yeah.
How many people eat goose for, like, Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Not out the park, Pat. Not out the damn park.
It doesn't matter. It's still a goose. A goose is a goose.
You can't take it out the park, though. Oh my God.
If you're hungry enough, you'll take it wherever you can get it.
I gotta go, because that could be your cat, by the way. Appreciate it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm having cat stew for dinner tonight.
All right, Pat. I've had enough. Talk to you later. All right. Wow. Looking in the comments, though, let's go, Pat. I see the smile. You can, a little to the left, trucker. Bring you love to clear over here. I don't quite get what you're saying there. Will G stated it's Democratic Republic. In the 1800s, the two parties were once called the Democratic Republic Party until it's resolved into two parties we now have. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just semantics. If somebody says under Trump they feel that he is a threat to democracy, and where we're not a democracy, we're the republic, it's just semantics. You know what they mean. They mean that they believe he is a threat to the harmony set forth by the founding fathers. How about that? Alter ego. Wow. Thank you for the galaxy. Appreciate that. Going back to the box. I will try it again with Dencal. Welcome to the program. I'm a trucker and I've seen a group of foreigners loading roadkill into the back of a truck. Yeah, but that could be anything, Nate. Maybe they want to get it out the highway so that people can drive by without running over. I mean, I hit a deer before years ago. I'm going to pick up somebody and the neighbor brought it in their house and prepared it. I mean, roadkill is totally different than eating cats and dogs, though. Dencal, good evening.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much at all. I'm in the trenches as usual.
Yeah, I see. I just want to start out by saying how much of a shame it is that these immigrants are taking the brunt end of these things that are being said by the ex-president and the people in his party, and they're the ones that they always say, well, we okay with the ones to do it the right way. Yeah. But they're the ones who did it the right way. Those Haitians are literally the epitome of what they're talking about. And now they're having bombed, like the citizens, all of the original citizens are having to suffer because now their town is being inundated. Now Vivek Ramaswamy is going to go down there and they're going to investigate and see what's going on. That's it. That's
Yeah, you know that's not going to be an unbiased investigation. They're going to find everybody who believes cats and dogs are eating to interview.
right. But even even the guy that was at the he was at the I guess it was a city county meeting or whatever. The black guy that had on his sweatshirt and stuff. Even he's saying like people took what he was saying out of context. He was not agreeing with all of this stuff that's coming out from from J.D. Vance and Laura Loomer. Like it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's sad that they're doing this to these people, talking about they're trying to shine a light on immigration when that town literally has nothing to do with what they're talking about.
Well, and you raise a good point about don't come here illegally, come here the right way. I do believe, just like you stated, most Trump supporters believe those Haitian immigrants are illegal. The mayor got on TV and said these are legal immigrants. They have protected status. They have protected status. But I do believe that most Trump supporters believe those folks are here illegally, and that's where
that's what he said. That's what Trump said. He said when I get in, we're going to start in Springfield. We're going to deport all of those illegals to to Venezuela.
They're not even from there. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I don't know if he can unless he can find some kind of way to deny the privileges they've been given to stay here. I mean, and he would have to do that with no legitimate reason at all. I mean, because it's not like they're committing crimes or doing anything that would violate it. He would just have to come up with a reason why we can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's plenty of places where he would have a legitimate claim, but using them as an example is the sad part. You know what I'm saying? Because I just try to put myself in their situation, and they're like, well, we did it the right way. Why is everybody focused on us? Why is everybody accusing us of things that we're not doing? Like they're literally there working. Their employers love them and want them to be there, and like the only people that are complaining is like Trump.
Well, in the comments on YouTube, Jay seems to disagree. He says literally he did not say what we're suggesting he said. He said it's like a game of telephone, and by the time you get it to your airhead, you think that's what he said. Now he's trying to suggest that Trump has never called those Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, illegal. I'm pretty sure he has, but he's saying that he's never heard him. I wish I could. I don't feel like going digging it up on the computer, but I'm pretty sure you can find that. But he's saying that Trump has never called him illegal.
And not only did he call him illegal, he said that he was going to start in Springfield and he was going to deport them to Venezuela. Those are his words that I saw him say. So he can do what MAGA does, but.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, like I said, I've had enough viewers on the show. Most folks believe, at least folks on the right, most of them believe that those Haitian immigrants are here illegally. I don't know why.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter that you can see the documentation from the government saying that they are under TPS status. They were under TPS status under Trump. The whole time under Trump, they were under TPS status. I think they've been under TPS status since 2010, and so for them to say, well, look, those are illegals. Like I don't even understand why we even at this point. Well, we have the documentation. We know that they're here legally.
Yeah. Well, maybe there has to be some reason why they're being targeted. I mean, because they do seem to be getting targeted. I don't know why, but they do seem to be getting targeted. I mean, one reason I think though is there is too many of them in that small town. They did swell that town up with too many folks with a whole different culture.
Well, I think it ballooned when somebody got a hold of that statement that was made unjust, and the people who originally started the story have come out and said that's not what it is. But it had already been grabbed by MAGA, and so Trump, he's never going to back down. So it doesn't matter if people are telling him it's not true. He's already, what I'm saying, he's already, the train is already rolling. So he's just going to roll with it, and then then you have JD Vance saying, if I have to create stuff to bring attention, then I'm going to do that. So they're admitting it.
Yeah, and I gotta agree that when you listen to it, when you see the folks that they're putting on the screen, it's regular citizens in that town, and they're literally discounting all of the professional politicians and police in that town that is saying this is not happening. They're taking a word of unknown citizens over the governor who happens to be Republican, over the mayor who happens to be Republican, but some lady on her porch or some dude walking down the street, what he says is valid, and what the mayor says is a lie. And it's like, what is that based on? It's not based on anything.
Well, it's based on a population in that city that's disgruntled because they are there after all of the manufacturing jobs left that place. They were there, in the end of what probably used to be a booming economy in that town. So they're sitting there, and they're all probably, most of them are probably on public service and stuff because there's not a lot of opportunity in that town. So now they've seen these big manufacturers come in and basically lobby to get these immigrants to come work because they know they'll do their jobs. They won't complain. They won't ask for a raise.
So you think it is an acute case of jealousy?
Yes. Yeah, wow. They're pissed off. Yeah. You listen to the people that are having those conversations. They like mad. Oh, they're here, they're invading, they're taking away our services and stuff. Like, they didn't have services.
Yeah. No, and I see in the comments, what does that says? Afla or Aflala says, not true. That's not true at all. They had an abundance of jobs that were not being filled. Well, that's not what the mayor of the town is saying. The mayor of the town is saying what my guest is saying, that they brought them in because they had jobs that there were not enough folks in that town filling. That's what the mayor is saying. Yeah. Now I want to read this to you, Dencal, because I thought this was interesting. This is coming from Will Geo on YouTube. He said it's funny how MAGA is quick to judge immigrants picking up animals without faculty of the whole story, but when cops shoot an unarmed person of color, we have to wait for the whole story first. Do you see any validity in that?
Wow, that is a great analogy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I might have to use that. Like, it's always, they jump as soon as they see a picture of a man holding a geese, that instantly becomes a Haitian who illegally immigrated to the country, and he's eating these animals without any proof. But then as soon as we see something happen that's kind of obvious, on his face, and we see somebody get assaulted or shot, then then they're like, well, we need to see what happened before, after it. We need to go back to, what was going on, in his family, and, he was disturbed a little bit.
Yeah. That is true. That is really true. Because I said the same thing about the geese photo. I'm like, you got a photo of a guy walking down the street with two geese in his hand. That doesn't tell you anything. They could have been roadkill. He could be taking them in, hopefully trying to save their lives from drowning. It could be a host of issues. Why automatically assume he's eating them? I mean, like, it could be a host of reasons why he's carrying those two geese. So you're correct when you say you see a guy carrying two geese and you automatically assume he's about to process and eat them. But you see Derek Chauvin with a knee on George Floyd's neck. Well, I like to see the whole video first. Maybe he didn't go.
The knee was not on his neck.
Right. He was in the process of dying of a heart attack or he had COVID. I got to move it on, Dencal. Thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program as usual. By the way, folks, tap the screen. We might be able to get up to 100, HUNNIT, 100,000. Tap the screen, get the likes up to at least about 90,000. We can certainly make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. This is uncensored programming. As always, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome. Understand for my MAGA Saturday out, because why are you hearing so many liberal callers? Most of my viewers on TikTok are left leaning. Most of my viewers on YouTube lean right. So you probably going to hear slightly more in terms of callers coming from the left, simply because of that. I can't make MAGA go to TikTok. I can ask you to follow me on Rumble, the Handsome Liberal on Rumble, because I'm trying to make it live over there. But until then, this is what we got. I grew up in Miami. Happened there 30 years ago. What happened there? It's impossible to argue Trump has better economic policy, says I'm big deal. Well, and there's no shortage of people who believe the economy was better under Trump. But as I often state, everybody's not voting for economic reasons. People are voting for other reasons. Everybody's not suffering under the Biden economy. There are people who are, but make no mistake about it, the lower end of the socioeconomic scale, the salaries have went up. Everybody's not hurting under Biden like that. But some are. Has anyone spoken about the young man's death in North Carolina? Mike the Sailor, I don't know what you're referring to. Elaborate on it. Trump was writing the Obama administration, says Freedom Moral. Well, before I go to the next caller, I hear this all the time, that Trump should get no credit for the economy. He was riding the Biden economy, Obama's economy, riding Obama's coattails. In defense of Trump, I don't think that's totally fair, because as I state often, let's say Obama gave Trump a good economy, which he absolutely did. And we don't give Trump any credit because, hey, the economy was great when you took office. We all know if Trump had got in there and screwed that economy up within a year or so, we would be blaming Trump for screwing up the economy. But because the economy was well maintained, he gets no credit. It only goes to Obama. So essentially, we're saying the only grade Trump can get is a bad one. He can't get a good grade on the economy because you're going to blame it on Obama. That's not really fair to former President Trump. The fact that the economy stayed in the black, that should be something Trump should get credit for. I don't want to judge it unfairly like that. Why doesn't anyone understand the economy is adjusted by independent Fed? Because they believe there's more to it than that. J-Hor, they believe it's more to it than that. Trump should be in prison with P. Diddy, both from New York. Well, maybe P. Diddy should have said it's a witch hunt. How about that? P. Diddy should have stepped up. Like, the moment they started investigating him, he should have started saying it's a witch hunt. Maybe P. Diddy, by way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks think that this might have been beneficial to P. Diddy had he endorsed former President Trump? The minute the authorities started circling the wagons on P. Diddy, he should have came out as a Trump supporter. And once he got the ire of Trump, maybe he would have had a few favors he could have called in. Anyhow, let me go back to the box. Hell, he probably should have done it 2016 or 2020. Maybe got a partner. He should have went to Bali. I agree with that. Going back to the box, I do agree. Like Russell Simmons, during the Me Too movement, you got, Puff Daddy got about $1 billion, hundreds of millions of dollars. They coming after you. You got deep pockets. Grab a few bucks and leave. Go to a non-extradition country like Fiji or something like that and leave. I mean, sure, you don't have all your money, but you don't need it all in Fiji. Going to the box. Bree, this ought to be interesting. Good evening, Bree.
Why do you say it's going to be interesting, Liberal?
It always is. What am I getting wrong?
So, did you hear about the car today?
About the car?
The car on the side of yeah, they found a car full of things that go boom.
Where
on
was
the side of the road that was sitting on the side of the road on the way to the Trump rally. That would have been his route to it. They had to switch his route.
No, I did not hear that. Wow, they really don't want this guy around, do they? Now, I see in the comments, several people are
number 4.
People are already saying that was debunked, though. People are in the comments are saying that's not true.
Of course it is debunked. Just like, he apparently wanted himself pewed in the ear for optics and then pewed again on his golf course for optics. Like, I don't do the whole debunking thing. Like, it's what it is, guys. Like, you can tell me it's debunked all you want, but until I see like the hard facts.
So what you're saying is this vehicle full of explosives, it was confirmed.
For right now, yeah.
Okay, well.
Until I see something else. Because they also said that he wanted it done to himself with his ear. And now we're finding out now with everybody, coming out with, Secret Service and Homeland Security that probably wasn't the case. Okay.
Well,
so I was just...
Go ahead.
I'm feeling a little better about tonight. I'm not so angry with you. I just want to tell you I'm not so angry with you because...
Why would you be angry with me? I'm the nicest guy on social media.
Oh, the other night I was pretty angry with you because,
I'm used to it.
That kind of rhetoric for unaliving anybody on either side is not okay, and we know that.
Okay.
So.
All right, fair enough. So let's be clear. There is folks out there counting on Trump's demise. I'm not going. Now I don't know nothing about this car full of explosives, but yeah, there are people who. I mean, at the end of the day. I did a video. I actually posted on YouTube, but I'm waiting for them to clear it because some of the things I mentioned in it apparently triggered the censors. And my video is titled 9 Enemies That Want Trump Gone, because Trump is always blaming everything that happens to him on the liberals. And in my video, I point out 9 different entities that want Trump gone, like the Iranians, the Ukrainians. There are people out there who want Trump's demise that have nothing to do with the liberals. Mm-hmm. Do you favor him blaming everything that happens to him on Democrats? Did I lose you?
No, I'm just.
Okay.
I just want to word this right so that TikTok doesn't get you or me.
All right.
There are, just like there were people that wanted Obama's too. Okay. Do I think they would be so dumb as to do that and like actually start something with the United States? No.
I don't know if you're quite answering it. I don't know if you're quite answering the question I asked you though.
Right. I don't think the Ukrainians and the Iranians would be that dumb as to do something.
Are you kidding me? If Trump gets reelected, the Ukrainians could lose their entire country, their entire sovereignty could go down the drain. So they certainly don't want Trump to get reelected. And the Iranians, once again, he got out of the Iranian, the Obama's Iranian deal, which has cost them a fortune. He is going around bragging that he killed Soleimani, chopped the guy into pieces, one of their top generals. There are a lot of reasons to take Trump out. What are you talking about?
I mean, that happened while he was eating dinner with the guy in China, too.
Trump is bragging that he did it. Trump is bragging that he killed someone.
Well, I mean, they've taken out leaders and bragged about, like, everybody's taken, like, I don't see what the problem is with this, because it's either you want the leader taken out or you don't want the leader taken out. Like, I don't really, like.
We don't want anybody bragging about murder.
Who did Obama brag about taking out?
No one, other than bin Laden.
Okay.
That
would have made a lot of people mad.
Yeah, Soleimani.
There's people that did not like Obama for that same reason. Like, I'm more worried about here.
Okay, but let me make sure I get clear.
The rhetoric.
Let me make sure I get clear.
The rhetoric is so hot and high here.
That's what I'm asking
you. You have people literally posting him headless and.
But that's what I'm asking you, Bree. You're talking about the rhetoric being hot and heavy. Trump is blaming all of everything that happens to him. He's blaming it on the Democratic Party, even the assassination attempts. He's blaming all this stuff on the Democrats. You talk about rhetoric. Do you support him doing that?
I told you when this happened the other night and we had our conversation. Okay, I told you the other night. No, if the blame isn't there, I will say the blame isn't there. However, when you have people turning up the rhetoric, like I've been listening to your show for a hot minute. Just because he doesn't like Taylor Swift, I don't like Taylor Swift. I think she talks when she sings. Okay.
Okay.
Like, it drives me nuts.
You do you think that's the same reason Trump doesn't like her, because he doesn't like how she sounds when she's singing?
Does he have to explain why he doesn't like her?
Yeah, he's the president. If you're running for president of the United States and you're on social media saying you hate one of you're on social media saying you hate one of your citizens, you're telling me you shouldn't have to explain why you do?
I mean, he's allowed to not like somebody.
That ain't what I asked you.
That ain't what I'm asking. In the office of the presidency right now under his official capacity, liberal. That's the thing. Like, that's what we need to, like, I don't care. Like, if he says he doesn't like somebody, he doesn't like somebody.
Okay.
For you being one to not censor anybody, holding him accountable for saying he doesn't like somebody is, I mean.
Do you see any? Now I'm listening to you speak. I'm asking you. Hold on, hang on.
Worried it hurt her feelings.
Okay.
More than you care why, like.
Okay,
I don't care why he doesn't like her. I don't care if it hurt her feelings. She's not down here. She's got enough money to not worry about it.
Okay, well, maybe not her, but what I'm asking you is this. Do you see any difference between saying you don't like somebody and you hate them?
Okay. Personally, I don't use the word hate. Okay. Because to me personally, it means a little more. To him, it may not mean what it means to you and me. I thought you guys were good about that. This
is coming from the president, Bree.
May not be like I despise her and wish harm on her.
What's the difference?
If I hate you, there's a really big problem. I don't like you to the point of see, I can't even say it. Like, I wouldn't care if something happened to you. Like, I don't care. So I don't use that because I never want to wish that on somebody, but that could not be his version of hate. Just like,
How do you know?
Like to change the words of other things, but
how do you know?
You are allowed to not like somebody, liberal.
But why do you keep saying
people are using that even to justify him getting almost pewed again at his golf course is absurd.
Why do you keep saying he doesn't like? Hold on. Why do you keep saying he doesn't like her? He used the word hate. You're downplaying his word. He didn't say doesn't like. He said he hates her.
I don't like saying the word hate, liberal. I said that because I don't use it.
Okay, but you don't have any issue with him saying it to one of his citizens.
No, because I'm not going to curtail his freedom of speech either. Like, he's allowed to not like somebody to the point where he may hate them to the point where I would use the word hate.
And he shouldn't have to explain it either. He shouldn't have to explain it or anything. Just tweet out you hate somebody.
The fact that you guys want him to explain everything is wild to me.
Okay.
Because he feels a certain way about somebody is wild to me. I'm not worried about her having any kind of, feelings about that. I do not care. It's Taylor Swift. She has enough fans and enough money. Who gives a shit about Donald Trump?
I think a lot of people do. Millions of folks do, Bree.
No, you and the people, the peons care.
What?
She does not care.
What is the peon? What is that?
The peons, the people that do not have enough money and need something to complain about. Those are the peons.
You want
to? They do not care. Like the people, the average Joe Schmo, not at the level of Taylor Swift. They do not They care. They care about emotions because they feel like they need to.
Now,
I guarantee you, is not upset about it and is not losing sleep about it and is not losing money over it or fans.
What's the difference between him tweeting, him getting on social media saying, I hate Taylor Swift, and Trump derangement syndrome? What's the difference?
Again, it's the peons that really have an issue with this.
That didn't answer the question, though.
It matters. They don't really care. Even I would say as far as remember when we talked about Paul Pelosi? Did you know that he actually called Nancy to check on her and Paul? He could say what he wants to, but he was actually a big boy and called and, said he hoped that all was well, okay? That's what I'm saying. To the peons, it matters because they only show us what we want to see, okay?
Yeah, like in Springfield, Ohio.
It matters, and it's an emotional push on both sides.
Okay. You and I obviously have a disagreement on this. The idea of a president taking to social media to say he hates one of his citizens and only the peons or I don't know where you're going with that. You and I totally disagree. But I do got to move it on, Bree. As always, thank you for coming through.
Yeah, the poor people. Somebody got it right in the comments. The poor people. All right, bye.
All right. Now, anytime someone talks about divisive rhetoric, suggesting that some people with certain opinions are peons. I mean, you might as well just take a line and draw it right through the middle of the country. I mean, that's about as divisive as you can get. An insulting moniker for people who have a difference of opinion. Looking in the comments, Republicans has really cheapened the White House. The notion of having a president on social media saying I hate someone and people are trying to come up with reasons why that's not bad. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Edgy left has become like Putin, unalive all competition. Ed, come on now. He's saying the Democrats have become similar to Vladimir Putin. They want to take the life of the competition. This is what I was trying to get across to my last guest, who actually disagreed with you, Ed. She even admitted it's not right for Trump to go around blaming everything that happens to him on the Democratic Party. No evidence at all. No evidence at all of that. So, yeah, you can say it, but it's very similar to a hell of a lot of other things that Trump is saying recently. If you start saying, well, show me some proof. Show me some evidence that the Democratic Party, by the way, in regards to suggesting the Democrats tried to put a hit out on Trump, the guy that just tried to take him out this weekend, that guy voted for Trump in 2016. He was actually a Trump supporter. He's not a Democrat. Will G, he hates people, especially if they don't kiss his ring. I can't wait until he says the N-word after losing the black vote for the third time. And I see somebody earlier mention, I don't think Trump's going to say the N-word. And if he does, I don't think you're going to get it on audio. But there was a guy, who was this guy, who was being interviewed by Megyn Kelly. You guys know Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox News, Loudry or somebody like that. And he actually referred to the Haitians as Haitian N-words. And he corrected himself and said immigrants, but it's immigrants in the N-word don't sound alike. They don't rhyme. They're not the same level of syllables and consonants. There's no reason to get immigrants in the N-word confused. And yeah, they played back what he said. He said the N-word clear as day. He said them Haitian N-words. He was describing what was going on when being questioned by Megyn Kelly. But some of you folks, I'm sure, has heard that clip. It's been all over social media. Real quick, before I go back to the box, I wanted to play a clip that I was asked to play earlier. And Ed G says, the left, Trump, why did you breathe around that black man? Are you trying to deny that black man access to air? Do you want segregation of air? Always trying to villainize Trump. Yeah. Ed, thank you for the support. Ed G is saying the left is always trying to suggest Trump is a racist, and he gives this virtual example of Trump breathing around a black man and being chastised from folks suggesting that Trump is trying to deny the black man access to air. I don't know if it's that bad, Ed G. Ski, thank you for the super chat. Ski says when Obama got elected, one of his policies was corporate tax cuts, was it? So when Trump mentions this as one of his policies, it gets nothing but hate. I'm not aware that Obama got elected and implemented corporate tax cuts, but let's say you're right, and you're asking, well, why did Obama get away with doing it and Trump didn't? Simple. Obama did things that may have been considered controversial without bragging about it, such as separating families at the border. Trump was bragging about it. You're going to get more attention. I mean, keep in mind, you can't complain that folks gave Trump more attention for doing something that Obama was doing too, when Trump was deliberately seeking attention for doing it. You can't complain that the man got what he wanted. The man wanted to be known as someone separating families at the border, as a deterrent to keep immigrants from coming here. Obama wasn't trying to make that so well known like that. So yeah, he's going to get more criticism for doing it. Nobody made him go out in public and brag about it. He did that. So I want to see if I can play this clip. I think it may be what I was told to play.
No, I will. Maybe Springfield, maybe Aurora, maybe both. We'll go there. I can say this. We will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela. You know, he told Biden he's not accepting anybody back. They moved all their criminals, not all of them, but the rest are moving in now.
Now,
First of all,
I'll stop it because this is a rolling show, but that clearly is a Biden moment. He's talking about deporting a bunch of Haitians who are here legally to Venezuela. You want to talk about Biden slipping in gas? That's a clear-cut gaffe. If you support Trump and you're not acknowledging that, you just don't want to criticize Trump. That's obviously a clear-cut gaffe. Him suggesting they're going to deport immigrants to Venezuela that are legally here from Haiti. Going back to the box, and let me hear MAGA explain it. There is no explanation other than maybe suggesting it's artificial intelligence or the video was spliced together or making up some other excuse. That's about it, because he clearly got that one wrong. Going to the box, why do you need an explanation? Why do you need an explanation from him, but not from Kamala about her policies? An explanation from Trump about why he hates someone? Now, in regards to an explanation from Kamala Harris about her policies, she may have a lot of policies I disagree with, but she's going to state why she wants to do them. I don't agree with some of the strong pro-life policies in Republican states, but if they explain them to me, they're going to tell me why they believe it should be done. I just won't agree with it. But saying you hate another citizen, yeah, I need an explanation for that. Tim, the guy wasn't charged with an attempt on Trump's life. Yet. Furback yet. Before I go back to the box, I mentioned this on the program closer to this weekend when that first happened. That individual that was trying to take Trump's life did what most criminals often are not smart enough to do. He kept his mouth shut. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights. And because he never had a direct line of sight aim on President Trump, and he was in an area where you legally could be allowed to carry a weapon. Now, he did get tagged on being a felon in possession. So my guess is he's not going to get out anytime soon. But no, I don't know if they're going to be able to charge him with an attempted assassination beef. Because he didn't say anything. He didn't give him nothing to work with. And there's a lot of plausible deniability in there. So, I mean, he could come up with a million reasons for why he did what he did. And there's no way to definitively prove he was trying to take out Trump. Unless they can find some kind of manifesto or something like that. He may never be charged with trying to take out Trump. Pleading the Fifth has a lot of power to it. Going back to the box. And we'll go to the one and only King Finn. Good afternoon, King. She is no different than any other politician. They spend a lot of time filling holes in their game. Not much at all. Good to have you on, man. You got a lot of ringing going on in the background.
I know.
Okay.
My bad, Tim. Yeah, that's how we know it was fake.
All right. So.
That's how we know the assassination attempt was fake.
What do you mean?
All of the taking the Fifth, we already know how he could legally have a firearm, the place he was at. It's like this whole bombing thing, man. CNN, Fox, OAN, all of these cats have already said this quote-unquote attempt on his life today with the car bomb. Bullshit. It's fake. It's all fake, bro. Yeah. It's the same thing you did with the first one. Okay?
Wait, you think the attempt, hold on. You think the attempt in Pennsylvania, the 20-year-old on the roof, you think that was fake as well, the earshot?
Nah, the earshot, I'm not too sure if that was fake, but I've never known a person to take a shot, have a shot taken at him, and he pump his fist like he hard. I've never seen that. Oh, my God. Tim, I'll come back up in a minute, man.
Okay, all right. My caller got a lot of callers, so we're moving on. Real quick in the comments. More than in the comments, William Gates, you're saying, can we have more than one? We don't normally put more than one in the box. Simply put, a lot of callers come through. They're fairly passionate. I want to hear their statements. I want to be able to properly engage in conversation and dialogue with them. And when you put multiple people in there, you're just talking all over each other. It becomes a scream match. Certainly as a host, it allows me to lose complete control of the program and things can go awry. I often go to other lives, and that's exactly what happens. So we don't normally, unless it's a case where you got two individuals that are willing to have, civilized dialogue. But listen, we're talking politics. A lot of folks don't really know how to maintain civility for a political conversation. You put 4 or 5 people in there, and it's a mess. Looking in the comments, and I see Johnny 11 says, I prefer this format. Yeah, we like to keep some control. And Red, that's fun. Red said, and you don't have control now. Wow, Red. I can't wait to see all your faces when you find out the truth. You've been lied to for years, said Snowbird. The truth about what? I mean, we can go back to lying. We can go back to Christopher Columbus discovering America. You've been lied to since America was founded. I mean, I get your point, but it's not like the lying just started now. Real quick in the comments, Nate's Memes, thank you for the super chat. Americans are fed up with millions of immigrants being funneled into our country and being given all the aid that should be going to struggling Americans. Nate, I believe you're partially correct. Thank you for the hat mustache. Mark the Sailor, yeah! Appreciate your support of the program. Nate's means that I believe you're partially correct. I'll read first portion of it and then the second part. The first part, Americans are fed up with millions of immigrants being funneled into our country. I believe that's correct. I do believe a lot of Americans are indeed upset. They, folks coming over, maybe some resources are being taxed, maybe some cultures are being altered. There are places you go where you can barely get somebody to speak your own language on American soil. I can understand that. But then you follow up by saying, in addition to them being funneled in our country, they're being given all the aid that should be going to struggling Americans. You're not going to get that aid, Nate, even if the immigrants are sent home. Now, most of the folks stating what you're saying, they lean right, and those same folks are against a minimum wage increase, universal health care, additional college assistance or forgiving college tuition. These are things that would help struggling Americans. So I want to point out your party is not for helping struggling Americans, regardless if there's immigrants or money going to the Ukraine or any of that. Your party believes in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. So it doesn't matter if they get rid of the immigrants. The town of Springfield, before those 20,000 immigrants were brought to that town, go find all the people that are bragging about how much they used to be getting in that Republican state. I bet you won't find many. You notice how many Republicans are talking about we need to help out struggling Americans instead of sending the money to the Ukraine. The Ukrainian war just began in February 2022. Notice there's no Republicans bragging about how much they used to be doing for struggling Americans until the money went overseas, because they weren't doing it. They weren't doing it. So if you believe that offsetting this problem is somehow going, no, they're going to tell you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps like they already were doing before it happened. Ski, thank you for the super chat. So do you believe free speech should be protected? And if so, do you believe the things Kamala said about the Twitter platform and censorship? I absolutely do believe free speech should be protected. I'm not a fan of using Zuckerberg and Facebook or anything to censor free speech. But we are in a binary race. We have a choice between Trump and Kamala Harris. And if we get angry that Kamala Harris is threatening free speech, we get Trump, who talked about giving you a year in prison for burning the American flag. That's free speech. So both of these candidates have ways of trying to limit your speech. Just depends on what route you take. That's it. You're not going to get free speech with Trump either. Remember, Pecker, during I think it was the Letitia James case that Trump was the one he lost, I think $300 and some million, or it might have been Alvin Bragg. But Pecker, the CEO of the National Enquirer, stated that they were working directly with Michael Cohen in the Trump campaign to put out false stories against Ted Cruz. Remember his dad killed President Kennedy? So the free speech is being limited, and the media manipulation is being limited or altered from both sides. You're not going to escape that by getting rid of Kamala and putting Trump in there. He's doing it too. Will G. The border wasn't a big issue until Donald J. Trump brought it up in 2016. I think it has something to do with the cartels. I actually think the border was an issue. I think that Trump, and I don't want to give him any credit for Springfield, Ohio, but I do believe he drew attention to the problem. I think the border was an issue. I think plenty of towns on the southern border, citizens in Texas, California, Arizona, and New Mexico were complaining. It just wasn't getting national attention. I think it was an issue. We just were kind of ignoring it under the past presidents, and Trump came in there and really put a spotlight on it. I'm not a fan of how he may have done it, but I do believe it was an issue. Dump the chump, Trump, says Fuzzy. It rhymes. I love that comment because we buy a lot of credit. We buy a lot with credit in this country. That is true. All right, going back to the box. Tap the screen, folks. Get us up to about 110. A lot of you folks that have been participating, I appreciate that. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 110K. We can certainly do that. Show the program some love. Tammy Green, if the box brings it up. Let's talk about the United Auto Workers not endorsing Kamala. You talk about the Teamsters. I don't understand that, by the way. The Teamsters is not endorsing either candidate right now. That's not to say they won't come out and endorse Kamala Harris. And I'm not, listen, we can talk about Kamala's policies or what you think about the Biden administration or whatever, but if you are the head of a union, to me, it should be a no-brainer. The right wants to get rid of your ability to unionize. What is Kamala doing that's that bad? Okay, you don't like her policies on the economy, or you don't like her policy. They're talking about getting rid of your ability to form a union altogether. Most of the Republican states, union membership is at an all-time low. So it's kind of baffling to me why any union would be hesitant in a national race between the Republicans and Democrats. I don't, other than maybe Trump is doing something behind the scenes with that individual, but they're talking, I mean, the right is fairly anti-union. Doesn't make any sense to me. Miss Mobetta says they are racist and not bold enough to say so. Okay, I need to know why. Wasn't expecting to hear that. Let me see if I can bring the box back up. Miss Mo, well, maybe she's not in there. All right, we'll go to Mr. Raynim. Remember, like Ray and them? Mr. Raynim. Okay, so you're saying he should be able to talk about what specifically and who decides these things. I don't get that comment there. I think our economy was better under Democrats rather than Republicans if we look at jobs created compared to the two parties from the last 6 presidents, says Greens. I've heard studies that say that. I've heard, because we know the Bush presidency, those 8 years was not that great. So I've heard people say that. What about the gig economy? I've got lots of experience in the gig economy. It ain't cracked up to be shit. I'll tell you, as somebody who's driven for Uber and Lyft off and on between jobs for about a decade. I was around when the gig economy first kicked out. I got involved in it. The gig economy is essentially corporations if all the regulations were removed, where the employees have zero protections in regards to salary, health care, unemployment insurance, no contributions to Social Security. The gig economy is not what you want to replace the W-2 industry. It's just bad. And that's what's happening, is that a lot of corporations are lobbying to the right politicians to change the designation of their employees from W-2 to 1099. That's not in favor of the employee. It is not in favor of society as a whole. It's in favor of those corporation heads that are making a killing off of it. But the gig economy is getting big. It's not good. Looking in the comments, we only have 3, and it's not the judicial. Josh, I don't quite get that. I've never been more excited to disagree than I do now. Trump is such an outlier that it's created a stain for Republicans. Well, it's essentially created a whole different party. MAGA in the Republican Party really should be separate, but we'll talk about that. Going back to the bots, having some trouble bringing up guests. Let's try Holiday 1360. I don't know if we can bring folks up anymore. I don't know what's going on, but we'll try it. Be happy if we don't have a two-tier justice system. We've always had a two-tier justice system. It's just a matter of who can enjoy it. We've always had a two-tier justice system. Once again, Tim, your phone just woke me up, says Mark. Sorry about that, Mark. Wow, you have some real geniuses in here tonight. Gen X, always good to see Gen X in the program. They are eating the horses. Wow, that's a different one. Wow, wonder what a horse tastes like. Okay, I'm having trouble with the bots for some reason. And by the way, folks, I appreciate you tapping the screen. Get the likes up to about 110. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Restart the guest box. We may have to do that. We'll give it a second. We'll try to, let me see if I can bring up another guest. Otherwise, I may have to restart the whole thing because I'm having trouble bringing up guests. Let's try Big Trig. Wish more research on both sides of politics. Well, while I agree you should do your research, there's so many false sources of information out there. You could do your research and still come up with bullshit. There's a lot of actual sources out there that you can't trust. So it is what it is. All right, I'm going to take about 30 or 40 seconds or so. I'm going to reset the TikTok side of it because I'm not able to bring anybody up. So give me a second. I'll reset it for you folks. I'll be right back. All right, in the YouTube side, we're going to continue. Was never a Trump supporter and was pretty ignorant on politics the first time he ran in 2016. What stands out to me most is all I see is Democrats ragging on him. Made me wonder why they hate him. Jackson, if all you see is Democrats ragging on Trump, and that's making you question why they hate Trump, is because you probably are ignoring all of the people Trump is ragging on himself. I mean, it's not like Trump is not Jimmy Carter, just, running the country and people are just messing with him. I mean, Trump is we just talked about him saying, I hate Taylor Swift. You don't think that's going to lead to people not liking him? A man that's nearly 80 years old out there on social media saying he hates somebody. So, if you only see people ragging on Trump and you don't see that kind of stuff, then you're just biased in the favor of Trump. I had health insurance for my guys. So I don't see anything getting any better considering she's vice president now. Well, she's not in control of anything, John. And that's one of the things that Trump is stating, and many of Trump supporters are stating. You're holding rallies and promising to get America back on track. You're vice president. Why not do it now? Because that's not the vice president's job. The vice president doesn't control the mechanisms of the executive branch. She can't, just like we don't give Mike Pence credit for doing much. She's vice president. Her job is to be there should something happen to Biden. That's it. Her job is not to pass economic policy and legislation. That's why she hasn't done anything. The economy, whether you favor it or believe it's jacked up, that goes on Biden's resume. It doesn't go on Kamala Harris's resume. Let me see if I can get the program going here. I think I just hit something I didn't want to hit there. Mirror the video. Okay, we'll try it again in the box. Let me see if I can bring somebody up. Hopefully the program is working. Megan. Let's see if Megan comes through. There we go. Good afternoon, or better yet, good evening, Megan.
Hey, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hanging out like Mike Pence on January 6th, as I always say. So, so what do you think? Go ahead.
So before, and you're gonna have to remind me of what the topic is, what we're talking about. But before I say that, I have to say I appreciate your live. I was in a MAGA live in the comments, and for the party that doesn't want censorship or whatever, they sure did block me real quick. So yeah. I just want to say I'm thankful you actually don't block, ban, or censor anybody.
Yeah, we believe in giving a person the we believe in supporting free speech even if you totally disagree. But yeah, I listen. I go to other right-leaning lives and it happens to me, but I'm sure a lot of folks on the right go to left-leaning lives, and the same thing happens to them. It's politics. People get passionate, and they don't often want to hear opposing viewpoints. We try to make it work here without that.
Yeah, especially because I was telling the creator that a blog, an opinion piece is not really a good source, but I guess that gets you blocked nowadays, so whatever.
Wow.
But anyway, what are we talking about today?
Well, I was told earlier there is no reason to vote for Kamala Harris. Like, no redeemable qualities. We even hearing that the Teamsters are now suggesting that they may not endorse a candidate. The union officials normally vote Democrat. They're suggesting that Kamala Harris, she barely taking interviews, she has no policies. They're talking about the economy, everything was better under Trump, or a lot of things were better under Trump. And they're stating there's no reason to vote for Kamala Harris at all. What say you?
Well, I think they're not listening. She has stated multiple policies. She's, expressed that she has, like, for families, like, first-time homebuyers, $25,000 loans on houses. For families who are who just had a kid, $6,000 the first year of that child's life.
Let me interrupt you, because I'm going to ask you what is likely to be the question you hear anytime she says that. Where's the money going to come from?
Right. I mean, it's obviously going to probably come from taxpayers, but I mean, why is that such a bad thing to enrich our people, give them a leg up? We've been struggling in an economy, and what's so wrong about us doing that?
Well,
maybe take a little bit of money out of funding our military, because they have enough, and put it into things like that. I don't think there's really a problem with social programs like that.
Well, I understand your point. The reason why I'm asking that is because, as you're pointing out, the money has to come from somewhere. So it's kind of like a seesaw. When you make one side go up, somewhere out there, something is going down. Now, you're talking about it could be the military. I don't know if the Democrats want to be responsible for weakening the funding of the military in any way, fashion, or form. And I agree with you. There's plenty of waste in the military, but that one's a loser. You start talking about taking money away from the military, and it does not go well.
Yeah, and maybe that's not the form that we get it. It does come from some form somehow. She has a plan if she's putting this policy out. We'll have to see what that is. I mean, it's better than a concept of a healthcare plan. At least, he's had 9 years and doesn't have a policy on healthcare. He wants to get rid of the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act,
I have a concept.
He's not really winning in that department either.
Yeah, the claim that he has a concept of a healthcare plan showed that he was not prepared. I mean, yeah, you've been around for 9 years. You came down the escalator talking about repealing, replacing Obamacare, and 9 years later, you're saying you only have a concept. But in regards to Kamala Harris promising to $25,000 for home care and all things you're talking about, she too needs to explain it. And that's what people are upset about, is you're promising all this stuff, but you're not doing interviews so that people can find out where this money is coming from. Because maybe folks agree, like you stated, that the social programs are good, but they might not agree that you should take it from the military. So we need to know where the money is coming from, because you may be destroying something they like.
Well, I don't know. Taxing Trump's billionaire friends a little bit more sounds pretty good to me to help the middle class. So maybe that.
Well, and that's the point I'm making, is that we shouldn't be having this maybe conversation less than 50 days to the election. She needs to get out there and explain where this money's coming from. I think it's a simple request. You want to be the commander in chief? Let the folks know what you plan to do, because there are going to be folks that might feel like, listen, I'm okay with helping folks purchase their first home, but if I knew you were going to do this to the military, or I knew you was going to do this to police or something like that, I would not have supported it. So she needs to explain that.
Right. And you know what? And that would be something that I would be interested in to hear from her too. I am voting for her. She does have my support. But that is something interesting that you do bring up, that where is she going to get this money from? But, I have a feeling it's cut the taxes for the middle class, up the taxes for the 1%. Because these are some things that the left has been talking about, and
yeah, I got folks in the comments. Yeah, I got folks in the comments stating that she explained it by saying she would tax corporations in the top 1%, similar to what you just stated. I mean,
right.
There's going to be a lot of people that don't want that to happen. Certainly, small business owners and people who may be part of those corporations. Because if you start taxing corporations, that would affect maybe the product and goods they service or sell. If you start taxing a company, they're going to likely maybe charge more for their products or their services they're providing, or they may lay people off.
The thing I have not heard her say is that she was going to tax the corporations. What I did hear her say is that she's going to go after illegal price gouging schemes from corporations. Yeah. That is in part some of our inflationary problems. So I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily her plan, but I would be interested in her going further in how she would subsidize that money for the first time house buyers and the $6,000 tax credit for the first year of the children's life. Those things are big to me, as I have a child of my own and I'm a first time mom. And I do want to eventually be able to afford a house, but who can in this economy? We all recognize that there is a problem in certain aspects of this economy. So the fact that she does have a plan for that and she calls it an opportunity economy. All I've heard from Trump's side of the aisle is that basically he's going to give more to his billionaire friends, and that's it.
Well, if he fixes, wait, hold on.
That's his tax cuts.
Well,
it's going to the 1%.
Well, but if the price of fuel at the pump comes down, if he can get inflation, I mean, that's helping a lot more than just his billionaire friends. I mean, that's helping the average worker.
That's the thing. Inflation is already at 2.3%. It's ideal right now. Yeah. I guess it happened at the end of Biden's administration, but it's still at 2.3%.
What about the largest deportation in history?
Let me ask you this. What does a president have to do with gas prices, though?
Well, maybe he could make deals with OPEC nations. Maybe he could drill more. I mean, maybe he could, because he's talking about fracking.
We're already drilling more in Biden's administration than we ever have before.
Yeah, and Biden's not doing a good job making that clear.
Yeah.
Same thing with the pipeline. Biden never closed the pipeline. He did a poor job of getting that stuff out to people. That's why a lot of people don't realize that stuff. Now, Ed G in the comments on YouTube, he says Democrats will give you the shirt off my back. Now, he's talking about what you're referring to, the Democrats being willing to implement these social programs that help out Americans. He's saying that money is coming from somewhere. He said the Democrats will give you the shirt off my back.
And that's a bad thing. It's not. Is that a bad thing to help out the next person? Give the shirt off your back. Is that a bad morality to have?
By force?
We're either demon rats or we help too much. Like, make it make sense. Make up your mind.
Well, they don't favor being forced to help people. They believe by charity, but if it comes down to it, they believe they should have the option whether to say yay or nay to helping out the downtrodden. So they don't want it done by force, by government force.
Well, I just don't see what the problem is with government assistance. Like, everybody needs a leg up, and not everybody can pull themselves up by the bootstraps, because some people face like a crisis in their life where they can't necessarily pull up their bootstraps and go out and work and do these things. So I don't necessarily see what's wrong with the Democratic Party or the government giving help and assistance to those who need it or are in need.
Well, just to play devil's advocate, and by the way, folks, tap the screen. We have to reset the live. Get us up to about 15,000. It helps out the algorithm. The numbers are way lower now because I had to reset. So show the program some love. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 15,000. I'll keep going from there. I'm a fan as what you're talking about helping out the downtrodden, but playing devil's advocate, a lot of folks on the right believe that if you start assisting those who have less than, they will use that as it would disincentivize them to do for themselves. They'll just stay there and live off of the dough. A lot of them believe that.
Okay, then this is what I say to the right. If you ever have a crisis in your life where, God forbid, you can't work or do for yourself in any case, you know what? I want to tell you sorry. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
No.
Sorry, you don't collect from the government. Stick with what you believe in. But those are the first people in the Social Security line.
Well, but in reality, the social programs are far less numerous in Republican states. That's where most of the poverty is. They do tell them, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's where most of we can talk about crime in liberal cities, but in Republican states, that's where most of the poverty is. So they are telling them that.
Again, you got to vote on these things. If you want your impoverished states to not be impoverished anymore, maybe you got to take a look at how you're voting. If it's not working and you're still staying red, maybe take a look at what socialism can do for you. They throw out socialism like it's necessarily a bad thing.
That is
maybe not all socialism, but
that is a very wait. Did you just say what I heard you say? What you need to take a look at what socialism can do for you. That's a really bad campaign slogan. What socialism can do for you?
Well, I'm just saying, social policies, more so than socialism itself is more what I meant. But yeah.
Yeah, don't throw that word out there. You're gonna really hurt the Democratic Party. You be the worst thing since Bernie Sanders. Megan, it's been a pleasure. I do gotta move it on.
All right, take care, Tim.
Anytime. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. Tap the screen, folks. I see there's less people in here, but certainly let's see if we can get up to about 15,000. It is what it is. I had to reset the live. Will G, thank you for the super chat, says, question, where's the money coming from? Okay, it says, but don't question policies that suck the money from everyday people to make rich people richer. That's a good comeback, such as, I guess I respond by saying this. When rich people receive corporate welfare, for a lot of Americans, they have a better excuse for why they receive it. Somebody sitting at home, popping out kids they can't afford, or, just choosing not to work, or whatever the case may be. There's not a decent story to give. Whereas corporate welfare usually involves, well, if you give us this money, or if you do this for us, build us a free stadium, for instance, we'll bring our team to your town and it'll create a bunch of jobs. Or let us put a casino in your town and it'll bring you revenue, without charging us a heavy permit fine or fee or whatever they are. We'll bring this business to your town and it'll create a bunch of jobs. So people buy into it. But corporate welfare does exist, and there's no guarantee what they're promising you will be realized. There are plenty of businesses that got a chance to move into towns, did not get taxed, property taxes or any other normal taxes that a business may be charged because they were promising to create so many jobs. Then came into town and went belly up, not long after they were there. And the town ended up missing out on the tax money and the business left. Happens all the time. It happens all the time. So corporate welfare is real. Looking in the comments, tax cuts for corporations, the 1% was Obama. Obama gave us universal health care, though. So that I would say that would certainly offset that. And he wanted to give it to us even in a more thorough way than the Republicans allowed him to. If it was up to Obama, everybody in the country would have health care akin to being able to dial 911. It would have been thorough. The only reason why it's not as thorough is because he had to fight and navigate around Republican resistance that didn't want it done at all. But yeah. So I don't know if I would see Obama as doing giveaways to corporations. He nearly destroyed our healthcare system, says just an average mom. I don't think he nearly destroyed the healthcare system. Fact is, people with jobs and a decent income did not want to contribute to a healthcare system that was looking out for the downtrodden. They didn't want to participate. They wanted to opt out. That would destroy the healthcare system. There's no way you can have universal healthcare if you let a bunch of people who don't want to contribute to it opt out. So, and that's what was happening. That's why he tried to pass some kind of law that you would be taxed. If you opted out, they would charge you a tax or whatever, because there was so much resistance to it. So the program they passed is not the best. Imagine if people got a chance to opt out of tax money to 911. You know, you dial 911, the cops come out. They don't charge you a dime. It's coming out of the taxpayer's dollar. Imagine people who had plenty of weapons and plenty of support, and young folks who lived in rural areas that don't have crime. Imagine if they all had the right to opt out of contributing to the police force. It would fall apart too. It would certainly fall apart. And that's what happened, is a lot of people, and that's also why now, we were talking a moment ago, I was talking to someone, letting them know that Republicans want it to be charitable. They don't want it to be forced. Well, fact is, if you only make it based on charity, too many people are going to opt out. I mean, there was a time in America where there were no social safety nets. It was all charitable. And there was never enough charity, such as what we're talking about right now. No matter, I don't care if it's public school, like I said, 911, if you allow the people to opt out of it, none of those programs would make it. And that's why universal health care has so many problems, is the people who are allowed to opt out of it. People are going to say, look, I got enough money to send my kids to private school. I shouldn't have to contribute tax money to the public school system. The wealthy are going to create their own mechanisms, their own civil services, and they'll lead the poor people up to their own devices. There will never be enough to sustain any of these services if you allow the people to opt out of it. And that's what happened with universal health care. How you started the country as the world changes and progresses can't be how it stays, says Maya. I see some relevance in that. I do see some relevance in that. Used to be able to afford health insurance, but since Obamacare, I cannot afford health insurance. So now I don't have any or my kids. Well, get rid of Obamacare and go back to the end of the George W. Bush era. Let's say Obamacare destroyed everything. Let's go back right before that. Well, now all of a sudden, if you get sick, and let's say you lose your job, what do we get? Cobra insurance when you lose your job or when you quit a job. Nobody can afford that shit. I mean, that's extremely expensive, and it's at a time when you're not working. So in America, while you are unemployed, most Americans are uninsured. And right now, there is zero loyalty in the corporate job market. So most Americans will be unemployed several times throughout their lifetime, switching jobs, things like that. Maybe you start a new job and it's a month, 2 months before your insurance kick in, whatever. There's a lot of periods throughout your working life when you are uninsured in America because your health care is tied to your employment. Notice how no other first world country on earth wants to pattern themselves after the American healthcare system. If you don't have a job, you have no insurance at all. So when you say you could do things until Obamacare came along, it's because your life was going smooth. You first of all, you have a job, you have a way to provide yourself with health care. Well, what about the people that didn't have a job at all, didn't have no health care at all? Do we not care about them? My opinion, no, we don't. In my opinion, we don't. Insurance, what does that say before I go back to the box? Insurance companies can fleece you if you have pre-existing conditions. That would also happen under the George W. Bush era. People going bankrupt. I'll tell you myself, as someone who's getting older, I go to see a specialist. There's co-pays. If you don't pay those co-pays, the specialist won't see you anymore. Eye doctor, cardiologist, you name it. You don't pay those co-pays, the specialist won't see you anymore. Now you can't go back and get treated unless there's an emergency. So maybe you went to a cardiologist or something, having your heart monitored, and you can't pay the co-pays or whatever the out-of-pocket costs are. So they got you in collections. You can't go back there anymore. You can't get treated. You can't get your heart looked at now until you go to the emergency room. You could be damn near about to die. All of the proactive medical treatments go away. I'm not a fan of the anti-universal healthcare world. I think there's too many problems. Certainly the pre-existing condition. You got a job you've been working at for 10, 15 years. All of a sudden, I got a machine going on in the background that sounds terrible. You got a job you're working at. As you age, maybe you become a diabetic or high blood pressure or, things that happen when you get older. You have high cholesterol, whatever the case may be. You've been at your job for 10, 15 years. All of a sudden, you're switching jobs. Maybe you get laid off. Maybe you get fired. Whatever the case may be. You switch jobs. And when you go to the next job and they enroll you for health care, that company can say, well, we don't treat the fact that you have high blood pressure already. That's a pre-existing condition, or your diabetes, or your high cholesterol. That's what was happening before Obamacare came along. That's what they were doing before it came along. So, look, we can talk about Obamacare, but I don't think anybody was bragging how great our system was before he came along. Let's continue on with the program. Hopefully, it allows me to bring people on again. We tried Tammy Green. Good afternoon. The taxes you pay in the NHS evens out. Depends on who you ask, I think. I'm late on this, but as a Teamster, I am shocked we're not at the very least openly against Trump. Yeah, Cyborg, I'm the same way. Look, there are reasons to support Trump, but if you're in a union, JPT Farms, yeah, thank you for the ad mustache. There are reasons to support Trump. I'm not going to pretend like there's not. But if you are the head of a union where your job is to do what you can to protect the union and ensure the continuance of the union, you have no business endorsing Trump or the Republican Party. The Republican Party is anti-union. I don't even think that's up for debate. The Republican Party is anti-union. So the fact that the Teamsters is saying, well, we can't endorse Kamala either, I would love to hear him state why that is. You know, if you're talking about other things that Trump may be known for, but you're the head of the Teamsters, that doesn't make sense to me. Will G, Republicans call those death panels. Yeah, I don't get it. Like I said, I don't get the, we talking about Obamacare. When you look at what healthcare was like in this country, I think it's pretty clear the employers do not want to give you healthcare. Every time your business renegotiates a new contract with their healthcare provider, it's worse. Your deductibles go up, your co-pays go up, and your coverage go down. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You go back 15, 20 years in America and look at what they were paying, the average American worker was paying 20, 30 years ago compared to now. It's way worse across the board, way worse. The American employee is contributing a lot more to their healthcare costs than the American employee was 20 years ago. The co-pays, the deductibles, all of that stuff has went up. It's way worse. So, I don't understand why anybody would look at that and say it's okay. All right, going back to the box. We're having all kinds of problems with the box. I don't know why. Let's try another guess just for shits and giggles here. Driver 75. They talk about $2 gas and not healthcare is insane. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Driver, good evening.
How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. I saw you in the comments.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I had a issue back during the Bush days where I had a medical issue. Was in the hospital for 2 weeks, laying in bed. It cost me $130,000.
Damn.
And the only reason, yes, $130,000. And the reason was I couldn't get insurance because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
The company that I was working for was charging like almost, it was close to $100 a week for insurance.
How did you end up getting out of that? Did you have to declare bankruptcy? How did you get out of that? I know you didn't pay that off.
Look, I tried to pay it. I was crazy for trying. But they basically, my mother always told me, hey, as long as you send them something, they can't come after you.
Right.
That didn't work. They told me, no, that $100 or $50 that you trying to send, that ain't enough. We want our money. And basically, I paid off $10,000 and I asked them, hey, can y'all lower the payment? They told me no. I said, okay, I got to file bankruptcy.
Wow.
I filed bankruptcy, and that was like the difference between Obamacare and what was going on during the Bush era. That really hurt me.
Yeah, you wouldn't have dealt with once Obama came in. You would not have dealt with that.
Right.
Yeah, you would not have.
When I hear people talk about Obamacare and what was going on before Obamacare, that's what I have a story that I can relate to.
Right.
To say, hey, this is what happened to me. I didn't want to file bankruptcy, but I was forced to. I couldn't pay back $130,000.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you had a home or something, they would have took your house for that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
so yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I'm okay with telling people they should, try to pay their own debts and things like that. But something like that, where you get injured or something, and you got a debt that will take you most of your life to pay off, and to have a unsympathetic view to people like that is insane to me. In the richest country on the planet, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, they asked me for a credit card. They said, we take credit cards, we take, however you want to pay it. I said, man, if I had the money, I would have paid it. I don't have $130,000.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
Yeah, and
they did not care.
And there's so many voters in this country that were against Obamacare that knew people were going through that kind of stuff. It was just a matter of, it ain't happening to me, so I don't want to have to pay taxes on Obamacare or whatever the case may be, because, yeah, he is going through misery, but it ain't happening to me.
Yeah, I can't stand that.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear Republicans talk, they never want to help people. It's all about themselves. Like, to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I got a story. Where I work at, I drive tractor trailers, and one of the mechanics at my shop, every time he would see me, the eggs, this, the eggs, that, I'm tired of paying all this price. One day I was at the yard, and another mechanic told me to look up in the air, and I said, what's going on? I see an airplane go fly across the shop. And they told me that was the guy that works in the shop, the mechanic. I said, this motherfucker got his own damn airplane, and we're talking about eggs. I mean, it's crazy. You're talking about eggs and the prices. I just couldn't understand how you can talk about that, and you have your own freaking plane that you just flying around just on your leisure time. You took off for work to go fly around and do flyovers like the Red Baron over the shop. It was crazy.
Well, but that's how the have-nots keep their money, is that they complain about every dollar like it's their last, and they're not, not very likely to share. Most of the have-nots, I mean, this is why I keep telling folks when people say, well, why are they sending money to the Ukraine when it could be helping out Americans, is because we actually benefit by helping out the Ukrainians. We don't benefit by helping out everyday average Americans. Even when the wealthy do help out the downtrodden, they put it on their taxes. They want something back for that. They don't believe in just giving money for the sake of giving money. I mean, that's the problem, is that we live in a capitalist system, and capitalism isn't about sharing and helping others. It's about getting rich. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I never understand it, because I always help people, and I don't have it like that to be, giving everything, but if I can, I will. I help everybody. I don't have a hateful bone in my body. I'm out here on the road. I've been out here for 28 years.
Wow.
Running the road, and I just don't understand it. I wish I could make money like I used to, but it's not out here. And I don't blame. I blame the companies. Why the wages are so low, why things are so bad. you know, the company that I work for, you know, I hear about the all the money that they're making, and they just don't seem to pass it on to the people that's doing all the work.
Yeah. I used to be an over-the-road driver. I stopped as of 2020 during the pandemic, but I was in a van. I was an expediter in a van doing those hot shots, and I did it for about 4 or 5. Yeah, I did it for about 4 or 5 years, and yeah, the writings on the wall. I mean, everybody was talking about the good old days when they used to get paid more, and I seen even the little time I was in it, the pay was going down. And I'm the same way. I'm like, the money ain't being passed on. You know, you work for Panther or Bolt, some of these companies where you know they're making a killing, and you're fighting to get a few pennies per mile. So I totally sympathize with that.
They give you a new truck.
Right. Yep. I gotta move it on though, driver. Appreciate you coming in here, man. Yeah. Thank you. Good talk.
All right, thanks for bringing me up.
Anytime, man. Good talk. Real quick in the comments, Nate's Memes, thank you for the super chat, said fuel costs are so high because we're paying to import it. Fuel costs are not that high anymore, Nate. Fuel costs in America are not that high anymore. The average price of a gallon of gas is getting to be around $3. It's getting to even drop under $3 in some areas. It's not that high anymore. Will G, I remember one of your callers saying if he pays for universal health care, he wanted people eating healthier, like he was the only one paying for the health care. Yeah. Like I said, people don't want to do it. It's predominantly on the right. The left is fairly friendly to universal health care, but the folks on the right are not pro any social program, other than maybe helping out veterans. But if you're talking food stamps, you're talking housing assistance, you're talking health care, the folks on the right really don't encounter many social programs that they favor. They really push back against all of them. And this is what I say on the program all the time. The mindset of the right and left are exactly the opposite when you're looking at the poor and the wealthy. The right, or better yet, the left is more favorable of helping out the poor, even though it can lead to folks scamming the system, welfare moms and folks who are now, who are deliberately choosing not to work to get the dough or whatever. But the left are usually more favorable of helping out the downtrodden. And as I stated, yeah, it can lead some people to scam the system. The left is more skeptical of the wealthy. You're price gouging, you're not earning, you're cheating the system. The left believes that the left tends to believe that the wealthy are not necessarily earning their money and finding ways to scam and game the system. And they're more favorable to the downtrodden. They believe all of those folks need help. As I stated, it could leave some room for poor people to scam the system, and it could also cause some folks at the top, some wealthy folks, to get mistreated that actually did go out and earn their money for real. Now, the right is the exact opposite. The right is very skeptical of the downtrodden. Unlike the left, the right tends to believe that most people who are applying for social programs might be trying to scam the system, which is why they are against most social programs. If we do anything for somebody poor, they're just going to use it as an excuse not to work. If you give them food stamps, they're going to use it as an excuse to have more kids. They usually are very skeptical of the poor, and just to the opposite of the Democrats, they are more favorable to the wealthy. They believe if they believe wealthy folks worked hard for their money. They don't tend to think wealthy folks have scammed or gamed the system. He worked hard for his money. Why should you be able to tax him more? Why should you be able to force him to give his employees a minimum wage increase? You shouldn't be able to control what he does with his business. So when folks say there's no reason to vote left or right, I believe that's one area where there is. If you're rich, if you are doing fairly well off financially and you don't want somebody forcing you to share with the downtrodden, you should vote Republican. You own a company, you don't want somebody forcing you to give your employees a higher minimum wage or forcing you to provide them with health care, you should vote Republican. There are legitimate reasons to vote Republican. Financially, I totally believe that if you don't want to be forced to share with the downtrodden, the right is going to be more favorable to you. Look, this is the whole socialism argument. Folks say, well, you forcing everybody to be equal or whatever. It's socialism. Well, the right is not going to do that. Real quick in the comments, I took a time machine from the year 2031 to say you're wrong. It's really bad under Harris. TT, it could be really bad under Vice President Harris if she wins the presidency, but I don't know. I don't buy into the Armageddon politics. We are all old enough to remember when they were saying that if Obama got elected, he'd take away everybody's guns, he would raise taxes to 70% and turn America into socialist Greece. At the time, Greece had the failed economy. Now it's Venezuela. None of that happened, but people believed it, which is why when Obama got elected, the price of an AR-15 tripled. That people believed he was going to take away guns. The price of gold skyrocketed. People believed he was going to destroy the dollar. That stuff didn't happen in real life, though. So now it's Kamala Harris's turn to destroy the economy. They said the same thing about Biden and Hillary Clinton as well. When Biden got elected, they said it was going to be a Great Depression. We had some tough times. We didn't come close. We didn't come remotely close to a Great Depression. Folks on the right said it. And then once it got towards the end of Biden's term, when it became clear a recession, a depression was not going to happen, they kept saying a recession was going to happen. And that didn't even happen. So I don't really buy into Armageddon politics. Will Kamala Harris be a good or bad president for this country? I don't know, but I think we will survive her. I don't think Kamala Harris is going to get in there and all of a sudden you got to eat your cat and dog because you can't afford food. I think that's what I call Armageddon politics. Anyhow, folks, having problems with the box, I do appreciate smashing the like button for the time. I had to reset the live because I don't know why TikTok is doing that, but thank you, folks, for the participation you did give me. It is your boy, Tim, the Handsome Liberal. As always, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. I do want to give one of the, we'll tackle this for a minute. King Finn, I saw you in the comments.
Ooh, you let me back. What's going on, brother?
Not much at all. Kamala Harris. I'm hearing Kamala Harris is going to destroy this great country.
She's going to what?
She's going to destroy the economy of this great country.
No. Wasn't she part of the team who helped bring the economy of this great country back? Because before Biden got in office, they weren't talking about cutting Fed rates, was they? What they do today. Didn't they cut them rates today?
Yeah, but
they cut them rates today, dog.
Yeah, but I'm hearing that was only because there's an election coming up.
Man, I don't give a shit what it's about. Don't nobody care. See, the right seems to think that everybody cares, only an election problem. So it's just like when people using the live with you today. Mm-hmm. Don't nobody care about. Look, I can't buy $2 gas if a cop pew-pews me, right?
Yeah.
But you can if I'm gone, right?
Yeah.
So what do you care if I'm dead?
Yeah, I don't deny that the idea that
if I'm dead.
Well,
Right.
I'm hearing. But I'm hearing that Trump promised to give police immunity, but they're saying he won't be able to do that.
He might not be able to, but the simple fact that his thought process is to give police immunity, and we know damn well police don't need immunity because they already have a certain level of immunity in the first place, just because they walk around with the badge and belong to the Gang of Blue. The biggest gang in America in the first damn place is a problem. Would you go out and give the Crips and the Bloods immunity?
Yeah,
no.
That's a good point. Good point.
Wouldn't, would you?
But here's what I gotta ask you: why do you think there's so many folks on the right that support giving the police immunity and bringing back stop and frisk?
Because they're following their fearless leader. You know, the same one who said we should execute the Central Park 5. The same person that said there were great people on both sides of the Charlottesville debacle. The same person that basically started and tried to exemplify a coup on Capitol freaking Hill. They're following the flaming hot Cheeto.
Well,
redneck on the outside and crunchy Cheeto on the inside, bruh.
Yeah, and I see Sean in the comments said because they think they will target brown people. In reference to the now Stevie D, you're saying what was already debunked? Are you saying that Trump promising to give police immunity was debunked? What are you saying? I see Stevie D in the comments that is bunked. And by the way, before you continue, King Finn, Will G says you can see why they want. You can see why the right wants the privatization of the Veterans Administration and the Social Security Administration. They see all the money flowing not to the government to redistribute, but to their own pockets to stash away. Damn.
And you think that's a Democrat? That's a Democrat problem? Was a Democrat in office when our soldiers came back from Vietnam when they was treating black people like shit? Was the Democrats in office when Iran those wars from the weapons of mass destruction? Were the Democrats in office when those people came back? No.
Yeah.
Stop taking a page out of the Republican book. Think for your fucking self for a second. Stop watching Fox News, bro. It ain't even about fucking. Let's take it further than just the two parties. Let's go here, okay? The reason that the right wants to keep in power and wants to get Donald Trump back in power is because they are not thinking of Republican versus Democrat. They're thinking money over lives.
Explain.
That's the reason that they cut back Roe versus Wade. That's the reason that they wanted to do all of this shit to privatize Veterans Affairs. Because if they have power, they can do whatever the hell they want. And that's what they want to do. They want more money for big business. They want more money for the NRA. They want more money to line their pockets. They're not thinking about the people in Appalachia. You see how, what's your boy name?
Vance.
J.D. Vance, the couch fucker? J.D. Vance, the couch fucker? You see what he's thinking? He came from Appalachia. He was supposedly a war hero. What is he doing? He's talking shit. He wrote a whole book about talking shit about the same place he came from. Do you think that's respected?
Yeah. Well, I gotta assume the people in the Appalachians are overwhelmingly going to vote Trump Vance, though. He's going to win that area.
I hope he do, because that just proved exactly what he said. Republicans are stupid. That's exactly why he ran for him.
You don't believe all Republicans are stupid now. You can't believe that.
I don't believe that all Republicans are stupid, but I believe the ones following behind Trump, like he got a carrot in his ass cracker. Pretty much. I mean, think about it. What is he offering? It's been 9 years. Where's the health care plan? He said he got a concept. What's a concept? I'm looking for a plan. He said, oh yeah, well, Obamacare is so horrible. Well, if it's so horrible, what you got that's gonna beat it?
Well, wait a minute though. I don't think the Republicans care about health. Remember, they didn't want Obamacare to begin with. So if Trump repeals Obamacare, replaces it with nothing, I don't think the Republicans would care. They didn't want it to happen in the first place.
So who is that going to help? That's the point.
Big business. It's going to help big business.
Obamacare right now, Gad. I will put you like this. The things that Obama did with Obamacare and the plans that Joe Biden put into place helped me get my son's insulin down to $35. So I only paid $35 for insulin. Before Obamacare, before that shit came out and the shit that Joe Biden did, I was paying $400 a vial for insulin.
Wow.
Are you kidding me right now? My son is 13 years old. He's been diagnosed with diabetes type 1 since he was 2 years old. How the hell am I supposed to afford insulin? There are cases of kids and people dying right now because they're rationing out their insulin because they can't afford to buy the shit. There are people right now, the same people in the Appalachians, that are dying because they can't afford to get their damn medicine. How is that helping? So you don't have health care. Let's get rid of Obamacare. Okay, cool. What are we gonna replace it with? Because you're still gonna need health care, right?
Yeah.
The same broke people that's talking about getting rid of Obamacare and yay, ooh, yeah, arraying at the Trump rally. And he's standing there telling them that he's gonna get rid of their health care because they're all on Obamacare now. They're all on Medicare now.
What are they gonna do then?
I can't. I tend to be able to play devil's advocate, but I can't make sense out of that one. I don't understand why so many Americans are against that. I don't. Yeah, to me, because I do believe that we live in a society where there is no corporate loyalty. So no matter how much you're enjoying your job, we go through jobs in this country a lot. I mean, most people don't work at the same job for 20 or 30 years. So when you're between jobs, you're not going to have any health care. And that's the way it is. And I don't see why people, because if you got universal health care, it eliminates that problem. But there's a lot of Americans that don't want any form of universal health care. And it makes no sense to me.
The problem with it is, it's just like I see this person in the chat saying that shit about her husband has diabetes. He pays $600 for his diabetic care now. What state is he in? What state are you in? Are you in a red state? Because I can bet you if you're in a blue state, they've already taken upon those policies that lower that drug down. Yeah. They've already taken those policies. Most blue states are taking those policies. Let's go here. It's just like the red states not wanting to take money from FEMA unless they have a tragic accident. You don't want the money to help you fix your roads and shit. You don't want the money for all of that. You don't want to take healthcare there, and you run all those policies about, oh, we're not going to take government money. We're not going to take government money. But when FEMA has to come out and fix Florida, don't they take government money?
Yeah.
When FEMA got to go out to Louisiana and put them levees back up, and they take government money? Louisiana's red state, ain't it?
Yeah, it ain't something.
Don't they take government money?
Yeah, it ain't something I understand. I mean, I understand wanting to be self-sufficient, but I mean, people have problems. I mean, people do have problems.
And you would think that the one thing that we all look towards, the one thing that's supposed to work for us, the one thing that we all vote on or should be voting on, because there are dumb motherfuckers who don't go vote and sit proudly like I didn't go vote. Dummies. Go fucking vote, dummies. What you should be doing is trying to vote in your local government elections, not just the president. Because all these people who are jumping out now, year 4, talking about go vote for Trump. Did you vote for your local government? Did you vote for your alderman? How about your mayor? How about the Congress? How about the House of Representatives? Did you vote for any of those people? So don't just tell me, oh yeah, it's a government problem. No, it's a people problem. It's an American problem. Stop being stupid and stuck on the damn couch. Go fucking vote. Yeah. Vote for your interests. I'm not telling you to vote for Kamala, because then I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, even though I am definitely voting for the Harrison Walls ticket. I'm not going to tell you like I agree with everything she fucking says, because I'm not. I'm not a sheep. I'm a fucking person. I vote my interests. But what I am going to tell you is I'm not voting for Trump, because there's nothing he says. And I don't even know who the fuck J.D. Vance even think he is. He's some fucking Pinocchio ass wooden boy who fucks couches in his spare time. You know what I'm saying? I barely know who the guy is. I mean, Trump don't know who he is. You see how he look? What he say? The VP candidate don't really matter. Because it don't. Because he ain't gonna do shit. It's like Trump ain't gonna do shit.
Well, people favor Trump's first president. People believe that Trump did quite a lot for this country when he was president. But I gotta move it on, King Finn. As always.
Yeah, you know it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program real quick if I can hit this. What is this? Pence on video says Trump is dangerous. I don't think most of Trump's administration wants him to run again, but a lot of Americans favor Trump's time in office. Real quick in the comment section, what did I say? Statistics show Republicans are far more charitable, says Nate's Memes. It's not enough charity though, Nate. That's all I'm saying. Even if you're saying that Republicans are more charitable than Democrats, at the end of the day, without social programs, a lot more people in this country would suffer. Allowing the people to not be forced to help out each other, but letting it be optional, too many people opt out of it. Too many people are opting out of it. So you need that. And I don't, when you say statistics show Republicans are more charitable, okay, I don't know if that's true, but I'll say it is. I don't know if it is or not, but as I pointed out, most of the poverty is in Republican areas. When you look at states like Kentucky and Louisiana and rural Mississippi and Alabama, that's where all the poverty is at. So you're saying that Republicans are more charitable. They sure ain't looking out for their own people, because that's where most of the poverty is at. in those states. We can talk about how poorly ran California or New York is, but they ain't poor like that. They are not poor like that. The poverty is in those Republican states. I'm talking like being dirt poor. Way more poverty in those states. Anyhow, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Unfortunately, I got to step away. Follow the program Monday through Friday. We are here, uncensored. We go from left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. You don't have to agree with the host. We don't block, ban, or censor. A subscription on YouTube, if you will. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Thank you.